We are, I think, live. Oh my God, we're live. We are live, my Habibis. We're live, and God is great. And what's happening? Oh my goodness. Well, that's silly. What happened? Is that still? Is the drip logo getting cut out? No, it's the bottom. Okay, cool. Hey everyone, thanks for coming. You are loved. God is great. We've got a very powerful guest here today. Very special guest. I mean, we got it's like a unicorn. You know, you're a media organization struggling to come back. What do? You jump on Ukraine, right? What do? You jump on Ukraine. And listen, we didn't even do that. Like a lot of them are doing it fake, but we didn't even do that. We have a true friend of the show. He actually made the graphics. I'm actually sick of the shout outs, but you know what? Sorry, dude, relevant. Sorry, dude, relevant. So, you know, Ed Lachinsky is here. Ed Lachinsky is here today. God is great. He's going to be coming soon, actually. It's 2:48 right now. I told him 2:33. We're going to have him on by 3. Let me just send him the link. But thanks, everyone, for coming. Come on in. Welcome to the congregation. Welcome to the service. What are we doing today? We're going to do what all the organizations are doing. You know what I mean? This is drip, drip, rip, and dip. We're here on top of the news. We're here on top of the, you know, whatever issues are happening in the day. We're not slacking on that. We're on top of it. We got it. Actually, how many organizations even have a section for this? You know what I'm saying? How many organizations have? Pardon me, that was a little magic trick I was doing from my meditation class. Yeah, I have doubles in the meditation class. We're going to do that here too, by the way. We're going to do that here too. Don't think I'm going to leave you hanging on those. We're going to do that here. God is great. About to start the service. Oh, here we go. You see that? It's a magical time. It's a magical time. And this is why I didn't want Lachinsky seeing any of this, because I know Lachinsky is on top of his graphics. He's on top of, he loves the graphics. He loves the artwork. He's done it here. So I'm going to make sure I'm just really on top of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want him to see any of that stuff. How do I get rid of this Zoom? Can someone tell me how to get rid of this Zoom logo at the bottom? This is ridiculous. Real quick, let's read some comments as I send him the link. Yahubi is here. Yahubi, get a schedule, my dude. I know. Ed Lachinsky already. Yes, true. 4-hour life. Thanks for going live early enough for Europe. Habibi, we're here for the community. Ed Lachinsky says Fox News used to have one, but she is dead now. Oh, God. Well, that's not going to happen to the drip. Well, I'll tell you what, that's not going to happen to the drip. Okay? Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you hit the subscribe. Let the culture know. Let the community know. We're here. We're out here with correspondents inside of the system. He's there. Still, he takes the time to come out over here, talk to the culture, talk to the community, and that's what we're going to be doing today. And just sent Ed the link. So I think he'll be coming on in a minute. Ed sent me a message saying, send me the thumbnail. Ed, I feel like yeah, let's rip now, baby. Let's rip. Listen, we'll fix the thumbnail after. Just going through some thumbnail issues over here on the YouTube. But yeah, thanks for coming, everyone. I just started a dopamine fast today. It's incredible. But also in the morning, I had an audition. You know what I'm saying? It just throws out the schedule. But yeah, no, we are going to be aiming to go early enough. Hold on a second. Let me just, until Ed gets here, let me just polish this. Let me just polish that up real good. Before I let Ed in, I want to make sure, you know what I mean? I don't want to look like an idiot over here. Oh, God. There we go. Polish it. Here we go. Nice brass, clean, shiny look. God is great. Like I said, this is the only podcast where you got a Canadian Screen Award winner. You got a Writers Guild of Canada Award winner. It's the only podcast in the whole culture, in the community. So make sure you tell your friends. And only podcast with our special Ukraine correspondent here with us today, here for the culture, here for the community. Ed, how you doing? Come on in, baby. How's the audio out there? Is everyone hearing me okay? How's the audio out there?
Test.
Oh, hear loud and clear, baby. You sound great.
Okay, fantastic. Wait a second.
Yeah.
I have a fuck me, man. Camera. Why is not okay?
Today, how did this thumbnail? We're working on the thumbnail game. Oh, you got bars, baby.
Okay, bars. Here we go.
You're all bars.
No,
dude. That's sick.
Hey, yo, listen, I got bars.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, I'm not gonna rap. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. What a great. Yeah, no, this is really the future. I was just talking to another writer today. I'm trying to get some writers to help me with this, but basically, I was saying like the future of YouTube is the thumbnails. The thumbnails are everything. You know what I'm saying? And
I mean, that's the present of the.
That's the what?
Of the present of the game, right? It's everywhere. You need to have a solid thumbnail.
Yeah, thumbnails.
But that's not everything, though.
It's not everything. No substance. I mean, listen, not everyone has a Ukraine correspondent. The Drip has it.
Yeah,
the Drip has.
As I was saying, that the Fox News used to the Fox News the Fox News used to have one, but yeah, actually, it's a very sad story. I think she was Ukrainian. Right, journalist too. She was like from Ukraine, and this way it was very sad. Like it's very stupid. Have you seen this thing that at least in the beginning that Tucker Carlson was doing, where he was like basically supporting Putin and was like, actually it's not about like we shouldn't care about Ukraine because it's far away. We should actually care about our own border and security and Mexican immigrants.
That was his first day rip. First day rip was why are we in Ukraine? Now he's full like go to war. Is he saying go to war, or is he saying the liberals want to go to war?
Yeah. But and that's very sad. But the funny thing is they air this segment from the first day. On
first day rip was his.
They air this on the Russian television, like domestically, to basically be like, look, some Americans do support us. Some Americans are telling the truth. They have captions with Russian translation, like what he says. Yeah, and they're like, look, this Tucker Carlson. That it was kind of hilarious, but then it's of course very sad when actually like their correspondent died here in
look here. You're gonna get some people. You know what I mean? You're gonna get some idiots. Like, look at this guy, tech lead show. I mean, this guy, and look, I know he was reviewed by Steven, and I know Steven doesn't think highly of him. But listen, you have your opinion. Okay,
you know the backstory.
Let's watch a little of this and see.
I watched this video a little on my stream when I was talking about the like just basically about some disinformation from Russia about the Ukraine, and then in the end I sneaked in this video. And nice. Let's just watch it. I think in the first several minutes there is like the most important ones.
I like that he has blood splatter too, though. Like I gotta say, his thumbnails
though. Yeah, see his thumbnail. But look at the views though. If you click on this is his second channel, and if you look at the views, like he basically only clickbaits, and there is no substance.
Right. Oh, okay, so this is just a strictly clickbait. Because look, as much as I don't like Tucker Carlson,
he does say that. Like look at it. Like his points are. He says a lot of stupid shit too, but like there is no analysis. There is nothing. He basically in this video he's just gonna watch. She's just gonna check out one tweet or something, and that's it. Look at it again. Watch.
I stand with Russia. Am I allowed to say that out here, or is somebody going to cancel me if I express some?
Well, this is a classic. I like this classic. Like you just do that. It's such an easy it's such an easy clickbait to just like, am I allowed to say
contrarian? That? Am I allowed to say that? I'm just asking questions.
I'm just asking questions.
I stand with Hitler.
Am I allowed to say that even? Is there freedom of speech left?
Is there? Yeah. Or are you gonna cancel me?
I love Putin.
So what if I it's actually not actually it's less Jews than they say. It's actually not as many Jews they killed. Like that's not it.
Oh, now I'm in trouble? You gonna cancel me?
They do this they do this shit though. Not like in the Nazi communities. It's like a meme that they basically start not with. No one's gonna outright say like, oh, I like Hitler. They will start with this shit, because I heard this on the internet. Basically, like, I don't like what he's done, but he at least his economics were great or something, or like his he actually was a great a great what's the name? He was giving great speeches. He's great with public speech.
Good leadership.
Great leadership. He was charismatic. Am I allowed to say that? This is how they. But then like deeper in there also. Oh, and also these Jewish characters. They're not that great. So
Didn't some of them?
Here we go. I'm comparing.
Some of them were on death row.
Put into Hitler again. Yeah. Some of them are bad, actually.
Some of them are actually bad. Yeah, no. Tucker does this. Honestly, Tucker, every other story on Fox is like, am I going to get canceled? Am I going to get in trouble for this? Sorry.
I'm so bad. I'm not like, this is some pick me shit, like pick me boys. I'm not like other journalists. I'm not like other YouTubers. I'm actually, am I going to get canceled? I'm so naughty.
Sorry. Yeah, so naughty.
I stand with Russia. Narrative. War is propaganda. Propaganda is the most important weapon out there. So it depends which side have you been brainwashed to believe, or are we all going to just simply assume that Russia's the bad guy, right? That's the popular narrative around here. And so this is what doesn't quite sit well with me, which is that most people out here have absolutely no clue what Russia and Ukraine are even fighting about, right? You've got Ukraine crying.
Is it lagging for you or just me?
You're lagging over there?
Stream. Yeah, it's super like, okay, let me check on the
Lagadocious. Let me see
I have the stream open. Yeah, I think the stream is fine, but I just get the like that video here on my feed. Okay, that's good. Okay.
How does everyone feel? How does everyone feel out there? Okay, cool. Let's keep going.
Good. Somebody who's crying, you can't win because people are just saying, oh, look, that person's crying. Why are you so mean? Why do you have to be a bully? That person's crying. As if simply by having somebody crying for help, that they're automatically the victim. Now, maybe, yes, Ukraine may be the victim, but let's take a look at what happened. I put out this tweet here where I said Ukraine may deserve to fail because they banned men ages 18 to 60 from leaving the country for suspending their bank.
Wait a minute. I think you agree with this, don't you? Are you pissed? You're like, what the hell, man? I gotta stay here. I hate to say it, but he's making some points.
Yeah, I know.
His first point is not bad.
But that's the funny thing. Like he found like 2 talking points that morning when he made this video. So one of them is fake, actually, like about the suspended money withdrawals. It didn't happen, basically.
Right.
What happened? Like people freaked out and they started getting cash because they thought that something like they thought the banking system might not work anymore or something. So there were lines to ATMs. But
I would say
and then it stopped. Now everything works just fine.
The banks are back to normal. That's good. There's no
the banks never nothing like that. The banks never fail. So they made so the limit is like $4,000 a day or something, but I think they had withdrawal limits for ATMs anyway. Like it used to be like
4,000 a day. So that's higher than Canada. Mine's only 3,000 a day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you can just go to the bank anyway, right? And just withdraw not from the ATM, but from the bank
But also, this is rude to say unpopular opinion. Ukraine deserves to fail. Don't open with Ukraine.
Yeah, what the fuck? But also
have a discussion. Say this is my criticism. Let men out if they're artists. Like if someone's making graphic arts, let's get them out. We don't need to give you a gun. Specifically Ed. We don't need to give
other men don't really care.
Yeah. have you heard of like the Taoist poems where you talk about like they're talking about like it's like the virtues of being lazy, and they're like the wisest man is so fat that he would never be recruited by the army. He's so blind, he's not even like they even advocate act like that on purpose so you never get recruited.
Well, from the other side, like that Russia they draft him like crazy. Actually, even like now I'm not being drafted, and I didn't think anyone. So there were like a lot of volunteers and stuff. And I didn't think they even do it. This is like a backup thing they do, which is this is very fucked up, and I disagree with this totally. Like it's not it's the same thing that basically states shouldn't be allowed to like not let people. It's one thing not to let someone get in, but it's a completely other thing to not let someone get out of the country.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, man.
But it's kind of the same thing like Stalin used to just like move people around. Like he would just deport people from one area of USSR to another, like minorities and shit like that. Like that's deeply, but it is a kind of a legacy on the judicial level, on the legislative level, is a legacy of kind of Soviet Union style authoritarianism still in Ukraine, or a law like this. And also some people actually support this.
When shit hits the fan, is this like, okay, and not to be, now people are going to say I'm anti-trans, but like, isn't it like, if people are coming to fight, this does seem a little bit like, you know, but I mean, obviously we don't need Ed Lachinsky over there. If you're an artist, get out of there. But
look,
but you know, it seems like you want to have the recruitment, but then women can fire a gun too.
Yeah, right. But also
some women want
it makes sense. So if something makes sense from the point of interest of the state, it doesn't necessarily make sense on like a moral level, right? Because I guess like slavery makes sense to have slavery as a system for the, like, I don't know, some sort of like state slavery or some shit, like as an economy, because you don't need to pay anyone, people just work, right?
But you're saying that if a country gets attacked, I have every full right to say, okay, well, I'm leaving. Like, there's no government doesn't have the right to tell me you have to stand and fight.
And I say this with confidence because in this case, furthermore, especially in this case right now with Ukraine, we had like, and I think we still do, but like the first days, the most, like, we had lines of volunteers to go sign up to
it's
fight,
like, guys, figure it out with
for the territorial defense. And that's the big difference, because guess what, Russia also has similar law, like the same sort of laws. And what they done in occupied territories of Donetsk and Luhansk, what they done, they actually they say it's so like how they legally do this, I guess, how they started the war is they recognize the occupied territories by them as like their own states, I guess, as the separate states,
right?
DNR and LNR, and they one other thing they done after, I guess, even like prior to this, they implemented similar law, but basically they evacuated, and I'm saying this with air quotes because they basically like deported all of the women and children and elderly to Russia. Didn't allow them to go back to the Donetsk, Luhansk areas. They didn't let them to go back.
Right.
They made all of them again like men of like the same age, 18. All of the fighting age men stay, and then they're like drafting men to fight for Russia in the war, right? So this is what they're doing, and the difference is like, this is why I think these sort of laws shouldn't exist, like, period, and should be seen as something like insane and slavery, like the whole compulsory element, because in Ukraine people are lining up to help because they know they protect their homes, basically, right?
No, it's like all Russia, the freedom that we had.
They
before.
also position, like Russia also positions itself as like, oh, we're actually under attack, but people within know it's a lie.
Yeah. So
they would never sign up to volunteer. They only can be forced to fight, right? So that's wild, this argument that like somehow Ukraine needs this, also from the economic standpoint, it doesn't make, like, there are no, like, I'm the lucky one. I work with people abroad, right? But all of these men who are here still, and they don't have military experience or anything, they basically, they don't have, like, most people or like a lot of people, there is no like clear number, but the estimate, at least like half of the country, their jobs and businesses are like damaged and not going to be repaired any time soon. You can't really get a new job right now. a lot of people moved from one region to another. There's a crisis with like housing and stuff because a lot more people need housing in the western part of Ukraine, while shit is going on in the eastern part of Ukraine. So or even like central.
Look at these.
So,
look at this video though. Can you see this video? This like recruitment video?
Yeah. I've seen this one. I know.
Oh, you've seen this one. Oh, so you like this is like.
Oh wait, I've seen the. I think I seen the previous one you're watching. I didn't see this one. Yeah, they make.
It's like, Grandpa, I want to tell you something. It's like so like loving.
You know, that's pretty funny. Let's watch. So after that, let's stay on topic on
tech lead.
On the tech lead,
and then we should watch.
Let's watch this ad, and also watch an old ad of Ukrainian military from like 2008 or something. I saw it. Cool. It's hilarious, actually.
Yeah. So this is wild. This 18 to 60. So actually, so far you're agreeing with him. Let's continue.
Withdrawals to try to protect their own currency from a bank run.
Wait. So,
but it's rude. Don't say deserves to fail. It's not deserves to fail. It's one criticism.
But it doesn't mean. Yeah, it's one criticism, and it doesn't mean like. What do you mean deserves to fail? You can like criticize some like hypocrisy of like, oh, we're fighting for the freedom, but we were gonna force people to fight for freedom. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But one is, it's more of a criticism also, not just Ukraine, but like I think like most states do that. Like in US, if you go to the war, like they have drafting laws also.
Have you seen
like
during the Vietnam War, they like beat the shit out of kids for not going. They like beat up kids in Chicago. White. They in the 1970s specifically at some university, they literally they got what's the name of, like, gun squatted, they gunned down a protesters. Like a university protesters of the
Vietnam
they
killed
War.
a bunch of college kids. They killed a bunch of the police killed
so
a
the
bunch
Americans
of
are
college
wild
kids.
out of control too. But actually I saw a great video about how Iraq, nobody cared because they didn't force people to go. So they only corrected it in America because it was like, oh, it's bad marketing. But let's keep going on this one.
And from
okay, let's go.
All right, cool.
collapsing. And I believe that in many ways, the blood is now on the hands of the Ukrainian government because people want to leave. They're trying to get out of the entire region, and Ukraine is saying, you sit here and you fight for me. You try to save me. They're trying to get out, escape, and just seek a better future for themselves, a better life. And yet their own government is trapping them. They're escaping from their own government as much as from the Russian government. And you know,
wow, speaking for the people.
Abraham Lincoln here said that those who deny freedom for others deserve it not for themselves.
Why is he putting the Lincoln quote? Hashtag Ukraine. We are just living in a time when just anyone's allowed to say anything. Lincoln, hashtag Ukraine.
I'm pretty sure Lincoln also like drafted people for the war. Like I'm pretty sure that's okay. Right. So refresh me on some like US, even though you're Canadian also, not American. But let's see. What Lincoln was war like a part of? Was it like
it was like a civil war, I think.
He freed last civil war, he freed the slaves or whatever. Or
what is it called when you force people to fight? Is it
drafting? Draft.
Draft soldiers.
Military draft Lincoln, because I think both like Confederates and America. What's the other side was? Like
so it called for all males between the ages 20 to 45 for service instead of assigning quotas to each state. Right. So I guess instead of quotas.
Here we go.
It sounds like
Lincoln, he's a part of it. Yeah, because it wasn't seen as well, it's fine. It's kind of weird, but like it's seen at all times, it's seen like as this weird necessary evil. So people usually, like on a personal level, everyone is against it. Yeah, conscription. Everyone is against conscription. But then when you institute this as a law, people like weirdly okay with it, even when it's like for freedom. So yeah, both.
Well, here's sides, another. Well, this is even more sad. It
so
says
you can't
many African Americans
on this.
It says many African Americans joined the Union Army because they believed it was a path to citizenship. I'm assuming it wasn't. I'm assuming it was not a path to citizenship, but I think they got a bunch of people in like that. But it sounds like they were conscripted.
I think it was. Yeah, they were conscripting.
2 o'clock.
both
this
sides of
afternoon at the courthouse.
The
Dude, when it's
conflict.
time, when I guess, yeah, that's the problem with war is that it's always a scam and then it always gets glorified after.
Yeah.
But war is a racket.
For sure.
It's like the biggest racket. It's
For
such a
sure.
scam. And
there are no winners in the war, but
there's no winners in war, dude.
It's pretty cool though that I mean after the Iraq war, the basically Europe and US are pretty anti-war. Like you can see a lot of like liberals and even conservatives, like they're not warmongering anymore.
I think the liberals are back on that. I think liberals are back.
Nah, like the support for Ukraine is not warmongering. Even yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Like you say anything, you support Ukraine in any way, and all of a sudden they will accuse you of.
Well, look, there's some people who just want to go to war too. Like, what is NATO? I don't. I mean, well, what the hell are they doing there? You know what a lot of people see it as is like it's like
Dude,
Russia and America are like a David and Goliath, and then Ukraine and Russia are like another David and Goliath. You think NATO's a non-issue? Nothing.
Yeah, it's a non-issue. Like the existence, NATO is basically an alliance to protect. It's like all of these countries all of these European countries that don't want Russia to invade them, basically. And the more Russia does militarism, the more like right now two additional countries want to join NATO, but besides Ukraine, like I think it's Finland and someone else, like
but here's what I see
all of a sudden
they want to join, of course, because I think NATO almost creates the instability that makes it impossible not to join NATO. Like they create the situation where they're like, you're on our scene or their side.
That's one thing I really want to make. So I'm thinking of making this like I made like a long rant about this on my YouTube channel, but of course it's like commentary style. It's not that interesting. I now I realized that this is gonna be discussed for a lot of time anyway. So I'm thinking of making like a documentary style long like video essay.
Like if you could make a pro NATO thing
and prove,
like that would be great for me because I don't know
it's not about it's not about pro NATO. Like I don't like any militarism period, but you can't just
that's what I mean.
Like you can't just dissolve like just because you don't like something, you can't just dissolve. Like I don't like capitalism, right? But I don't call for some half measures, basically.
True, but
because
we
know
need
that,
like let's say capitalism. We're all using it. We all kind of need it. But like when the Cold War ended, what's the need for NATO after that? Like why does NATO exist other than just US military? Like these people get rich off of this.
Russia got involved in the okay. Look, NATO in and of itself as a like institution is just an alliance. It's so one reason, even if Russia wasn't a thing at all, like a problem at all, or was a part of NATO, they are allying in, like the agreement is such that it's a defensive pact, and if one of the countries in the pact is attacking the other country, all of the other countries will attack the aggressor, right?
It's basically how World War I was started too, you know, like these treaties, these anti-war treaties, they're almost like military guys finding ways to go behind the government's back and say
much about World War II,
World War I
history also.
World War I
also war
because of
now
like these treaties.
Much more like different and dangerous because of all of the like technology and nukes and shit. So it was it's very different. But the thing is, if none of the countries are aggressive, NATO doesn't do shit. Like it's not doing anything.
I don't know. They're pretty aggressive though. These Americans, like they are tied in with military companies. They do, like they did a bombing in Syria recently that's totally illegal, like no congressional hearing on it. I think like 3 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I can't
just
really
no reason
debate you on something that's not that much. I mean,
if
I never heard of it prior, I can't really confirm or deny or like argue about this.
Yeah, we can talk about it
the Syrian shit is very like the Assad. He is Russia backed. basically. It's a Russian ally. It's actually like a proxy war by Russia to begin with. The whole Syrian refugees, everything. Like it's all because of Russia also.
Well, what about like them
It's a
being in
Russian
Iraq, right?
puppet
Like
dictator.
they go in 8 years in Iraq, and then Syria really is kind of an offshoot of Iraq too. It's like, what the hell are they doing in Iraq even? So that's like that bankrupted them too. But also,
Well,
it
you
gives
need
Putin
to
the
remember
reason to
that
be like, well,
Iraq
you're in my
was
backyard, you know?
Iraq was incredibly popular. This is okay.
As a war?
So yeah, don't you know
I mean,
all of the coverage from
it was
the time,
popular
like,
because they lied about it. I
because
mean,
of
they were. I'd say that a lot of the media organizations were getting
I
money,
think
like they were funded by
okay, look,
like a lot of military.
Russia
companies.
supported it even. Like they had the UN vote on it, and a bunch of countries supported the invasion, and there were claims about all of the crazy shit that was happening in Iraq and how it needs to be stopped.
Well,
But that's
Putin
completely different, though.
because he wants to fight too. It's like an excuse for him, right? Like he almost wants to go militaristic. I feel like Putin, because he is like a military dictator, and then like any kind of fighting is like, destabilize. Then I can start fighting. He's almost like looking for excuses to fight. I think always. So in that sense, I agree with you. Like maybe NATO had some, like NATO could also have some purpose.
It's an empire. Like I want a. I'm not gonna excuse everything that NATO ever done or whatever, but there is no like alternative for again, like for this country, even like Finland, whatever the population. Well, what do they have? Like 5-10 million people population. It's just basically without something like NATO or EU, like all of these smaller nations, they have no chance. To survive, basically they would be like under Russian Empire or like Chinese Empire or some crap like that, or maybe I don't know, US would turn into literally like some Western empire, which is actually like empires fall apart because it's expensive to run and centralize.
It is
these huge governments.
But a lot of people say that
they
NATO is
break.
Like neo-colonialism. No, like couldn't you see NATO as like neo-colonialist expansion? I mean, they
are
moving in on countries.
Okay. What's the argument? Okay, how does this? I hear people say that, but you know, people say a lot of shit. A lot of people say coronavirus is like the flu, like, but they are wrong. You know.
Yeah. I mean, how is NATO
wrong? Like. What did you hear? How is it like that? Well, now it's a debate.
Just by its nature, it's a military organization, right? So it's run by like it's run by military people. They have financial incentives to go to war. The United States as a whole has financial incentives to go to war. So, in my attitude is when the Soviet Union fell,
there is like financial incentive to do everything literally, because we live under the capitalist market economy, like, of course.
Yeah, but so you can see like military. It's not exclusive. On crack. Like military is like military to me is like it's like the racket of all rackets, because you don't have to be profitable. You don't have to pay the money back ever. And it's like, it really is in America, like the most communist organization is the US military, because there's no money coming in.
Yeah,
they spend money, and then they say, oh, it's boosting the economy. Is it?
Look, it's not boosting anything, but look, like they, again, in the ideal world, we would be all united, one world, one nation, no military, no anything, right? No need for any of that. But you can't just. So they started spending now that the conflict in Ukraine started, all of the European countries upped their military spending like fucking 50%, 100%. Like all of the countries are like, oh shit, we're gonna be next. We need to spend more money in the military.
It's what they always wanted, because they all want to spend more and more money on military.
You're basically implying like a conspiracy.
Where does that money go?
But it's a natural reaction. Like
it is a natural reaction.
Have two opposing.
And look, nobody's saying Putin's not evil for doing this. Like Putin is 100% aggressor, wrong. He's a dictator.
That's the problem that I have. This is the language the Russian propagandists use. They will excuse whatever Russia does with whatever America used to do or does or whatever.
And I think the truth is complex in both Russians. Are true. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think both are true in the sense that
one doesn't excuse the other, just because someone else someone else killing people doesn't mean you get to kill people. It doesn't work like that. That's
I
most
agree.
important
That's why
part.
NATO should be shut down. That's why NATO, which has this expansionist policy, just because
It
Russia
doesn't-
still maintained a dictator,
You can't.
they have to shut down.
I hear this argument.
After
This
the
is
Cold
again.
War.
This is what I want to make like a documentary about, because
Yeah, we should.
this is an argument that Russia seeded and brought up basically among the Western left through RT and all of the voices, all of the like anti-imperialist Western voices who would support. They would air a lot domestically. They would air like nationalist shit to
I don't doubt
Russians.
that.
And for foreigners, they would support all of these voices who are like anti-NATO, anti-imperialism.
Yeah,
They would say all of that crap. So then when they do shit like this, they expect, when something like that happens with Ukraine, they expect everyone to just close their eyes and say, America also bad. That's basically the argument. So you're like
listen,
playing
I'm not
like,
saying I
maybe
think
10
they're
years
both.
from now we can talk about like dissolving NATO or whatever, if it's not an issue anymore, if we have like a liberal Russia or some crap.
But Ed, there's
right
no
now
reason
it's not a conversation.
There's no reason why both can't be true. Like if you're an evil dictator, you're gonna take something that has a kernel of truth to it and try to play that up. So I'm not saying that Putin isn't also playing it up. But the reason it's playing up so well is because there is a kernel of truth to it. And even if you look at China, right? Whenever they ask China, like, why are you expanding into here? Why are you doing military action? Their number one excuse is America does it. Like you guys went to Iraq.
But America doesn't. That's the thing.
They do.
So
What's
what?
Iraq?
There's
no reason to go there.
Dude, if they want to lie, they will lie about something else. You're basically it's like the appeasement strategy shit. Like if
not. I'm not saying it's okay for anyone.
Let us. So the dictator does something bad and he excuses. Basically, it's an appeal. This I have a problem with this. I know you are well intentioned.
Yeah.
But this is the problem. It works even for well-intentioned people. So they will bring up this appeal to a perceived hypocrisy to excuse their own bad behavior. And like on the intuitive level, it's going to be implicit. They're not going to actually say it. But the expectation is for you, because that's the default. Default is like for everyone, like it's in the human psychology, not to do any action. The default is. So basically,
I'm not saying don't do
Russians
action.
will
I'm
say
saying
not worry about it. We also do this.
I'm not saying no action though, Ed. I'm not saying no action. I'm saying like, where's the loving kindness organizations? Where's the organization
also,
that says instead of military action, why aren't we setting up like cultural exchange programs? Why aren't we like after the Cold War ends? But think about like the Cold War.
It's called Hollywood, dude.
It's called Hollywood, but then
it's
okay, so NATO, why does NATO,
the cultural expert?
Right. But you look at NATO, right? If their job is to end communism, which is they sold themselves to America as like communism is expanding, communism is going to take over the world. So we have to be in all these countries all the time, meddling in other people's affairs all the time, forever.
It's not actually, it's like it's like Stalinism, not communism, but I agree. Like
we know that.
Do you think it was fun? Do you think it was fun to be a part of almost everyone there in like most people, like people here don't want to be part. One of the reasons why people in Ukraine fight like that is because no one wants USSR 2.0.
I agree with you. And
so
I think NATO
why
is
shouldn't it
sold
be
to
stopped?
us. NATO and US military is sold to us as like, we have to be here forever because of communist expansion. That's why NATO was created.
Apparently they do, because clearly Putin wants to make like Soviet Union slash
is he communist, or
Russia.
Is he dictator?
He's not. It doesn't matter.
No?
He has the same in his insane like 1 hour speech. He was referring before the invasion, right before, like days before the invasion, he was referring to Russian territory. In some cases, he refers to former Soviet Union territories.
Yeah.
But in some other cases, he refers to former Russian Empire territories, which actually do include now NATO members, like Poland, for example, or like part of the Poland. So basically, to say that we can just as this war goes on, let's just dissolve it's kind of sus, don't you think? Like, oh, let's just dissolve NATO. The only thing that stops Putin from expanding even, and like when you say NATO expansion, it's kind of a loaded language, because countries need to join NATO. First of all, it's a difficult and hard process. You're expected to meet some like political requirements. That's one, to be even like you're not gonna have Russia in NATO because it's a dictatorship. You need to have some level of democracy and such. That's one. And two, there needs to be popular support for joining NATO. You can't compare joining like Soviet Union even, or joining Warsaw Pact that used to be. Do you know about Warsaw Pact?
Yeah, I do know about Warsaw Pact, but that, I think when the Iron Curtain fell, like that wasn't really, actually they wanted to join NATO too. So if they want to join NATO, at that point it's like, no, Russians we're not allowed into NATO. And even Georgia, like you're mentioning Georgia, like NATO is just shaking their asses in front of Georgia. They're never allowed to join. Ukraine just shaking their asses.
Yeah,
Ukraine's not allowed to join.
That's the thing. That's bullshit, dude. The narrative that Russians are trying to sell to everyone is that NATO is expanding, but it's expanding as like the term expansion here is as useful as saying like the democracy is expanding, or like the English language is expanding, like more people, or like, I don't know, the Microsoft Windows is expanding eastward. Like, no, just more people are opting in to use something, you know, more people are. More countries are opting in to be a part of this pact, so it's not really but and that's one side. This is their excuse to invade, because oh my God, we're threatened because NATO is expanding. That's one. And but then from the on the other hand, like the facts are pretty clear that that NATO countries they want to appease Putin from the beginning. They talked about NATO, because NATO also means for like Ukraine and Georgia, it also means more like European integration, more a better quality of life, because of the NATO as like a trade bloc, and EU as a more of a EU, but it's like part of it's not necessarily part of it, but it can be part of it. It's like a step towards the EU also. So basically,
EU I agree with, by the way. I think EU is great, and that's all that really
for sure.
I think EU is great, by the way.
So look, but NATO needs to be separate from EU, because there are more expectations on the EU. EU can be like they have this problem of basically overgrowing, basically, because the more countries are adding into EU, like if you add more poorer countries, this is why Turkey is not in the EU, but it's a candidate for like 10 years or so. Because they need to, like, all of these countries need to generate basically like revenue, and if every new EU member is a burden on the entire alliance, it's bad for so basically other countries don't want them if it's a burden. So like I hope Ukraine is going to be part of the EU one day, but it's also not clear.
Well, he did the application after the war started. After this war started,
I was going to say one thing about this. The fact is pretty clear. Like NATO, Ukraine was asking to be part of the EU since 2013, and the popular support was there, and Georgia was asking to be a part of the EU after their war with Russia, or even before that.
Before that's why Russia attacked them, and NATO didn't help. That's what I mean by shaking their asses. I don't know if they actually asked. Russia said
if they actually. It doesn't excuse Russian attack. Basically,
no, it doesn't. If
NATO wanted to expand, if NATO wanted to expand, they would.
I feel like I'm saying both
they're
not wrong.
I'm saying NATO is in the right here. Like, just because NATO was involved in like Yugoslavian bombings or whatever doesn't mean that they can't.
I mean, it shows that they're an aggressive organization. Of course, it does. I mean, they crossed the line a couple of times when they bombed the Yugoslavia
thing was right. they didn't just randomly bomb the Yugoslavia. That's the thing. Like it was one of those more complicated issues than just. It's not like Russia right now. They just all of a sudden bomb Ukraine. You know, they didn't just bomb the Yugoslavia for nothing. And
I mean, I do think they're looking for fights. That's what their job is. They say that they're a peace organization. They say that they're a treaty organization. I see them as this is how World War I was started too. It was these treaties.
Dude, they're a bunch of pussies. Okay, look, here's the argument though. If they're looking for fights, if they're such an, if they want to attack Russia and that's their plan, whatever, why don't they attack them now? Why do they deny support to Ukraine over and over again? They're super like delicate with who sends which planes and rockets and everything. Why don't they just attack Russia? Because Russia is weak as fuck. They sent 70% of their entire forces to Ukraine.
Yeah,
their asses are kicked. And if NATO attacks now, they're gonna be like ruined. But you know, oh yeah, this guy.
Can I answer that?
Fuck
or
this
do you
guy.
think this guy's?
I hate this. I hate this guy.
I mean, he's a University of Chicago professor. He's got a point.
Okay, watch his new. So watch the video. I'm only showing this video and the other one. This is the worst video ever. I'm just full disclosure. This is full disinformation.
Okay, here's why I bring it up.
I will tell. Okay.
Here's why I bring it up though.
Okay.
He brings up a point in this, and we don't need to play the audio, whatever. I'm sure we've actually talked about this video before, but he brings up a point in this where he talks about basically, and here's my theory. This is just my kooky theory. I think NATO, and even the fact that Hunter Biden's son is in the is like getting paid in the Ukraine to do shit. This is all to me shows to me that this is a Democrat. More Democrats are involved in NATO stuff. This is just my own conspiracy. This is where I've gone fully into conspiracy. It's more Democrat. And this guy's theory about NATO expansion is he basically calls it, he's like, I'm a 20th century thinker and they're all 21st century thinkers. So what he says in this, and I kind of agree with him, he's like, they're doing these very aggressive moves. And then when Russia gets mad, they're like, what did we do? We didn't do anything. Like he specifically said, like you're coming in on countries that are on my border.
Yeah, I think
if I did this in America,
guy is just
like,
yeah, look, I think NATO are just like competent and he's a brain dead idiot. Like that's what I think. That's the kind of thinker he is.
So you think NATO's
unironically, I've seen this video like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
I've seen this video 2 or 3 times. Okay, he lies. Like okay.
Straight up lies.
It's all dude. He lies multiple times throughout this video. He's a complete Russian shill. After the invasion started, he refuses to call it a war. He said in this video, not an annexation of Crimea. He said an incorporation of Crimea.
Yeah,
Let me react to this video. Can we just watch it from the beginning? Yeah, this is after 2015. This guy is straight up. Like I want to actually like investigate if he I'm sure it's possible to prove this.
I'm down to debunk this if you want to debunk this. I can debunk it. And I'm not saying that everything's perfect on this video.
Let's debunk the very beginning, just everything that is factually wrong.
Let's go. You want to go from University of Chicago?
Skip this guy.
Okay, let's go.
So a lot of leftists are referencing this video exactly, and this video is very, very, very wrong. Like,
but tell me, you are a left. You are a lefty in a lot of ways too, right, Ed?
I am a leftist.
What do you think of Cold War propaganda? Because NATO was always funded using this, like communism is going to spread. Like, do you think communism was spreading still?
Yeah, I think so. So there is some Americacentrism in this thinking, because in Europe at the time, you need to realize that Warsaw Pact wasn't like, again, NATO quote unquote expands based on the countries that are willing to participate. But Warsaw Pact, you know the term tanky on the left?
Oh, tell me.
Ever heard of it?
I've heard the term, but I don't know exactly. Tell me.
The term is coming from in the Warsaw Pact, a bunch of countries like Romania, Poland, Hungary, all of these countries, they didn't want to. At some point, they didn't want to participate in the Soviet Union's Warsaw Pact.
Right.
And they wanted to basically they wanted their own like independence.
Yeah.
From this socialist quote unquote government.
Yeah.
And guess what? A bunch of tanks rolled out into the capitals of their cities.
Forcing them. This was after World War II, or this was in 91?
This is after. This is during the Cold War.
During the
And
Cold War, yeah.
then after all, like on like several other tries, I guess, yeah, basically there was no popular support for any of this crap Soviet Union was doing there. So in a way, they were like occupied. Some might even argue that like in a way they are like they were occupied by Soviet Union after the invasion. So they were like liberated from, yeah, after World War II.
But this is during Cold War, not after Cold War is done.
Up to
yeah, you can
look up the exact date, but it was after. This is what Warsaw Pact was. They rolled in the tanks to that, like, to basically dismantle protests. And this is what tankists are. This is why they are called tank, because they support this sort of authoritarianism when it's basically they simp for
100%,
aesthetics of Soviet Union and of communism so hard that they're willing to forgive any authoritarianism they are supposed to oppose, right?
But did that happen after the Cold War ended? Because in 91, when the Cold War ended, I think Warsaw Pact is over.
It was after the. Yes, it was during the Cold War. It was after, and the entire NATO was in an opposition, not so much to the communism or whatever. I think Red Scare in America is just a good talking point to convince people to do anything really. But in Europe, it was seen as up and coming alliance to defend themselves from this threat of, like, they were literally, you're saying someone was at someone's border, they literally divided Berlin into two halves, right? So people on the western side of the Berlin Wall wanted to defend themselves from the huge militaries of Soviet Union, right? So it's not weird that NATO is not seen as something weird. It's patriotic almost, like for European countries, for like Germany or sorry, not Finland. Who's out of these? I think Swedes are in NATO. I've seen basically like a comic strip about NATO by from some of their newspapers, how NATO is grown to oppose like Russian soldiers basically. But this video is very bad, and let's just watch. I will talk about some. He describes what historically happened in Ukraine, and I just want to tell you what actually happened.
Okay, I have to hit the washroom real quick, but I'm going to start this. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Talk. Feel free to talk. I don't know if you can pause.
Okay.
Feel free to talk.
But I can't pause. I'm sorry.
I know, it's just you talk over him.
Speed him up also. Speed him.
Okay. Seems so nice.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction.
Of course.
Coming out to hear me talk. The subject I want to talk about is the causes and consequences of the Ukraine crisis, which of course has been in the news in a really big way since February 2014. And indeed, there was a big story on the civil war in eastern Ukraine in the newspapers this morning. The outline I'd like to follow is, I'd just like to make a number of preliminary comments to give you some background on this crisis. Then I'd like to give you my thinking on what caused the crisis. Then tell you why I think the conventional wisdom is wrong. Talk a little bit about the West's response so far to the crisis, which is just, in my opinion, making a bad situation
Sweden and Finland is not in NATO.
Tell you what
Who
I think
is
should
in
be
NATO
done.
out of
And
this?
then finally wrap up with some discussion of the consequences. So let me start with some preliminary comments. First, with regard to America's core strategic interests. For me, core strategic interests are areas of the world where you're willing to fight and die. And in my opinion, outside of the Western Hemisphere, which is of enormous strategic importance to us, there are only 3 areas of the world that really matter. 1 is Europe, 2 is Northeast Asia, and 3 is the Persian Gulf. And it's very important to understand that since this country got its independence in 1783, Europe has been the most important area of the world. Even though the Japanese attacked us at Pearl Harbor, we had a Europe first policy going into the war, and we had a Europe first policy throughout the war. And it's in large part because the great powers in Europe are more important than the great powers in Northeast Asia. By
attacked us, he means attacked the military.
Of course, the Persian Gulf was an important area because that's where the oil is, and oil is a critical resource that matters greatly in the international system. So those are the 3 most important areas outside the Western Hemisphere. And again, since the beginning of this country, Europe has been number 1. You want to understand that we're undergoing a fundamental shift of great importance. Asia, because of the rise of China, is going to be the most important area of the world for the United States. The Persian Gulf, because it's inextricably linked with Asia, oil flowing to India, oil flowing to China, the Persian Gulf will be number 2. And Europe will be at distant 3. We're basically leaving Europe in the rearview mirror. And of course, you want to keep this in mind because the Ukraine crisis is in Europe and it involves NATO. how to think about the geography of Europe. This is a simple, if not simplistic way of thinking about it, but here's a map. You can see where Ukraine is, you can see where Poland is, you can see where Russia is. The way I think about European security.
By the way, this is America-centric very much because
Poland,
he ignores
Ukraine,
that NATO
and Russia. Of course,
is
we're
not
moving from
just
west to east. These are the big
US.
kahunas. These are the big countries that matter. And of course, the two countries that matter the most historically are Germany and Russia, or for most of the 20th century, Germany and the Soviet Union. And I put them in red because, as you well know, both Germany and the Soviet Union fought bitter wars in Poland, in Ukraine, and we could add in Belarus as well, if need be. But as we go along here, you want to keep in mind that Ukraine is right next to Russia, and Poland is right next to Ukraine. And then out further west is Germany and France. Take this a step further. This is the ethnic breakdown of Ukraine. I'm going to show you a number of maps, all of which are designed to show you that Ukraine is a badly divided country, and what's taking place inside Ukraine today is in good part a civil war.
I would love to pause.
To that
on
extent, it
this,
doesn't have that
actually.
much to do with what the Russians or the West are doing there.
This is
And
not
as you can see
accurate at
in
all,
red,
to be honest.
Are mostly Ukrainian-speaking people.
And the
then as you
language
move further
thing
east,
he's saying. Oh yeah. Pause on this. Pause on this.
What's up?
Yeah, so
What do
there's
you got?
he gets into a lot of misconceptions about also this map. So I don't know who comes up, like depends on what measurement you use on these like ethnic breakdowns. But
Yeah.
first of all, look what he's doing here right now, and that's pretty interesting. This is very Russian. This is very Russian propaganda, and this is
Yeah.
going to be very weird for everyone. He says. I guess this is okay. It says ethno linguistic map, but he says this is an ethnic breakdown of
This is ethnic
of
Russian
Ukraine.
population. He's saying this
No,
is
no,
all
no, no.
ethnic Russian, right?
Yeah, he says that, but look at what he shows. What the colors actually mean. Mostly Ukrainian speaking, predominantly Ukrainian speaking, mostly Russian speaking, predominantly Russian speaking. It's not about ethnicity. He conflates. On purpose, he says that everyone who speaks Russian is ethnically Russian.
Wow. How close
Which
are
is
Russian
just
and Ukraine?
in Ukraine.
What's your
It's
what
just
language?
not. It's just not the case. Like if you. So here's the thing.
But tell me this: are they close
everyone-
languages? Are they close? Do they sound similar?
Yeah,
Similar words?
it's pretty close. It's pretty a lot of similar words, a lot of very similar. And actual breakdown would look kind of like it's very different. Like if you ignore like this, you can even split it in more like dialects, because Ukrainian Russian, the Russian that people in Russian speaking regions speak, like it's not a dialect. It's like the accent is different. The dialect is different. Like
India is like that
different.
too. 250 languages, like
so
half of them are the same.
Exactly. So we have like some part of very closer to the Polish border. They start using more like Polish words, where you're like in the central Ukraine, in some cities, they will use, there is this term called surzik, which is like a mix of Russian and Ukrainian. So people will say they use Ukrainian, but they mostly like use more Russian words in their Ukrainian. So it's like a mix of two.
Wow, this sounds like a giant
Kiev, for example.
This sounds like a big ass debunk. Like,
it is.
Is this Putin's map? Like, is this a map that Putin made?
For sure.
Or like
dude,
the Russian government?
Sure. This is what it is. But
on the Ukrainian side, what would this map look like? It would just be like 1,000 things.
Okay, look, on the Ukrainian side, it would be like a smooth gradient. But the difference is, the argument is very different. Like, it doesn't matter what language it's. The map shows it's conflicting two terms on purpose to confuse you into thinking that people who speak Russian language are Russian ethnicity and therefore should be a part of like being Russian citizens. It's basically like
because this is taken already, right? Didn't he take this already? This Crimea?
No.
Crimea.
Crimea. Yeah.
He already took it over.
Crimea,
so that was his excuse. He's like, that's just our guys.
Yeah, that it was always his excuse, but it's simply like it's not the case. Like imagine if like Britain just takes over Canada because they have history together or whatever. There used to be it's not Ukraine wasn't even a colony of
it is like the Brits saying, hey, we're restarting.
No.
So Australia, Canada, you're back in, pay your taxes.
It's more like this.
Yeah, India, your crown jewel.
Yeah, India. They would say, hey, all of the English-speaking Indians, are British now. So wherever you have English speaking Indians in India,
Yeah.
you're now part of the UK, guys.
Honestly,
This
that's
is
what they
it
should
is.
do. That's a great idea for the Queen. It's like, where are you going now?
No, that's the
restart the
thing. No
empire,
one-
you idiot.
Like Russia, no one needs empire. That's the thing. Like you do soft imperialism now. Like everyone, normal countries do this through economic incentives. And yeah, it's fucked up
Neocolonialism.
on other levels. Yeah, neocolonialism, soft imperialism. You know what? Like they will not bomb you in neocolonial. Like it's different. It's also like
I agree with
it's
this.
wrong on other levels, but it's better. Like it's preferable over this. Furthermore, even if like Russia is not, there is nothing Russia can do to even maintain this new empire. They will, even if they take over this entire territory that used to be Russian Empire, their economy is not like, it's gonna have a revolution and fall apart in like several years. And all of these deaths are for nothing. So basically, this is one debunk. He says he conflates ethno-linguistic map of Ukraine. He says that basically this map says that everyone who speaks Russian, and I can confirm to you, mostly because I lived many years in Kiev, and then I lived many years in western parts of Ukraine. It's not like, you can't really, it's weird. It's more of a Canadian like double language thing, but it's not legally like basically on our free time in school in Kiev, we would all speak Russian anyway. And that's central. So the map is wrong, actually. As you see. I know it says that in Kiev, predominantly Ukrainian, whatever. We would all speak in Russian. Almost all of us would speak. But then when the classes start and to the teacher and stuff like that, we speak Ukrainian, which we like switch. We're always in this dual, in Central Ukraine, we're always in this dual mode. But this then if you go to the like Odessa, which is shown as a predominantly Russian speaking, it's true. They will rarely ever speak Ukrainian, maybe in like for official, some official like document signing, whatever. They will write and speak Ukrainian because it's like required. But they will never tell you, oh yeah, I am ethnically, or I guess maybe like some small portion of the population.
No, I feel like Ukraine's.
I
feel like Ukraine's sexier than Russia. I've heard Ukraine is like New York and Russia's like hick.
Yeah, I
so
guess
everyone's trying to be in Ukraine, and Ukraine's saying we want to go economically. We want to go NATO.
Yeah, economically it's like closer to Europe, so all of a sudden it goes like This is 2010.
Wow.
Whoa,
so
that's
so being split. Russian is not even sexy. It's like they're speaking Russian. They're seen as like hicks. And they're like, no, I sound Russian. No, I'm Ukraine. And everyone's like, yeah, you're Russian,
they would.
bro.
Everyone again, like everyone is able to speak. You can see the proof of this. Actually, you can find a lot of like all of the reality shows that are made in Ukraine. You can see them. They're shot in Kiev a lot of times. All of the title sequences, the people who actually the host of the show will speak Ukrainian, but then the actual like people who are participating in the show will start speaking Russian naturally, and everyone speak. It's dual language, but it's because like then historically why it's like that.
Is it like someone from the south and from someone from New York?
It's a completely different. No, it's not. It's a completely different language. It's just similar. It's like, it's like they say French and Portuguese is kind of has the same roots, whatever. Or like actually Polish and Ukrainian is similar. So it's different languages, but people are just in this dual language mode in Ukraine because again, like, well, like for me, it's like, actually like. For me, it's like a triple language mode and even some Polish too.
But you're saying no. But are you saying it's that different? Because in India, okay. Obviously, it's not like like in like the south and in the north. But in India, they have languages like Punjabi, and they have languages like Gujarati, and we kind of just communicate with each other without actually learning each other's languages. But we can still successfully communicate. Like I can speak a couple of Punjabi words, they can speak a couple of Gujarati. And it's weird. Like sometimes people just tell me to learn Punjabi.
You can I guess watch some videos on I think it's like
how different is it that different? Because
Okay, it's similar, but let me just tell you this. Ukrainians are conditioned to understand and know Russian, even if you never directly speak it, because they have also this huge thing of cultural imperialism, as like a lot of movies and shows and everything, even international shit. Like
cultural
if
imperialism.
if you buy a video game, it's not going to be translated in Ukrainian. It's going to be translated in Russian, and you're expected as a Ukrainian to know Russian to play the video game. It's not going to be like that. So
wow.
So this idea that somehow basically the picture he paints is very different from reality, because what he says is that everyone who speaks Russian is of Russian ethnicity, which is not the case, because Russia used to be both an empire and the Union. So like the official language of the Soviet Union was Russian. So it's basically like saying that English is all of a sudden, I'm British now because I speak English right now. That's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
That's one. That's a lie. And second, the map that he shows doesn't really represent the reality, because it just picks like some percentage of the most popular languages per region, whatever. Then the second map he shows is more accurate because it's just a voting map. So there was 2 candidates, but again, Yanukovych wasn't okay. He talks about this some more. He basically says, "Oh, there is this West and East. There is this huge West and East divide, which is true in a way, but it's not in a way that he describes it to be, basically."
Yeah.
Okay, so
no, but this is scary, dude. This is like India, Pakistan breaking up. It's like, this is terrifying, dude. You don't want this. This leads to so much violence, different. So much fighting.
Dude, we have the same. Okay, one other proof I will give it, like, watch all of these videos where in supposed ethnically Russian speaking, as Russians say, and this guy is Russian shell completely. So
it's so India, Pakistan. Sorry.
They say that those regions are ethnically Russian because they are Russian speaking, but there are a bunch of videos of people literally lying down under the Russian tanks, or trying to unarmed, like, stop as a mob of unarmed
lying
people,
down with like a bomb to stop the tank.
No, with no bomb, no nothing. Just like, basically, just I will lie down here, so you have to kill me to go further. They will sacrifice their life so Russian tanks won't roll into the Russian-speaking territory. I mean, it's a Russian-speaking territory, but Russian ethnic territory, as Russians think that it is.
Also, does Putin give these guys money? Does Putin like funneling in weapons to these guys? Because that helps them too, right?
In the Donetsk, in the breakaway regions, in the separatist regions, yes,
he's giving them money.
But everything else is he gives, as
it's very
probably
complex.
Gives money to this John Mershnier or whatever too. You know, he gives money.
Well, it's like, you know what happens? It's like they have oligarchs. It's like just like America. They'll have like some fund for the spreading of certain ideals. So these guys have that, and they probably pay off some.
Oh, dude,
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
It's more cynical. It's straight up a like their.
You think Mersheimer's on the dole? You think Mersheimer's on the dole, or do you think he's brainwashed?
I didn't think in 2015. I think he's like just friends. He admits in the end of he was saying that he likes China and Russia more because when he goes to
he talks about the 21st century.
When he presents a lecture to Russians in Russia or to Chinese, they understand them more. Basically, he may be like friends with some of the. He's like softly influenced at first, but then some of the new videos he's done are just completely like the language he uses is a completely Russian state narrative language. Like it's 1-to-1 what it is.
Okay,
let's just go. Yeah. So this is just
you want to do full debunk on this? It's an hour 14, but let's keep going.
Yeah, I know. I just want to go to the when he says about 2014.
It's fine. We're doing great, baby, and I love your commentary. Like all these points are like new points I haven't heard yet. And we do need to hear your opinion. You're there. So it's like, you know what's going on.
Badly divided between the East and the West. The Russian speakers in the East.
This is exactly like India, Pakistan. It's crazy.
The Ukrainian speakers in the West. This is the 2010 election, which resulted in Yanukovych getting elected. I'll talk about President Yanukovych as we go along. He was elected in 2010. And you can see there
election, whatever.
The voting patterns in the 2010 election look a lot like the voting patterns in the
Yukashenko is, Yanukovych is like the psycho who got just paid off by Putin to like,
yes.
Is he
okay,
was
look,
that guy, right?
Look further. You'll see. So you've seen the documentary. You've seen I actually also saw this on recently.
Have you seen Winter on Fire?
Winter on Fire.
Holy
so Winter on Fire is
it's
very
a ripper, dude.
So I stand by it. It's very accurate, and what they've done actually, it's kind of genius how they basically only show interviews. They never like present that much of they only present some background and some infographics a little bit, and then they just show interviews of people who actually not just been there, because even I was there a little bit, right?
Wow.
I was like walking. I was 16, but walking around protesting there too. But like,
wow.
Yeah, but super briefly, like a lot of people were. But
they put the whole documentary on YouTube. That's wild.
Yeah. I seen this on YouTube recently.
Oh, I see.
But so yeah, because I lived in Kiev at the time. But and I heard like from like personal experiences what happened there too. They also left out a lot of stuff too, like actually parallel to the Kiev revolution. They also overthrown all of the local Yanukovych's parties like governments locally in a lot of other cities. Okay. Let's not go on tangent. So remember
it's
this.
So sick.
This. Now watch the video. Because you've seen the documentary. The documentary is very accurate. Okay.
We'll have to do another episode on the documentary.
And then these are two recent surveys that came out.
They will copy strike you.
International Republican Institute. That's here in the United States. This one says if Ukraine could enter only one international economic union, which of the following should it be? And of course, the blue is the EU. And the light blue is the customs union, or actually the red is the customs union of Russia, Belarus, and Kazakhstan. And the cities up at the top are in Western Ukraine, and the cities down on the bottom are in Eastern Ukraine. So you can see very clearly that people.
Wait, look at this.
Like
okay, pause this.
Yeah.
Pause this.
Pause it.
So look at this data though. He says that there is this East-West divide, which is true in a lot of ways. But look how the most you ever get for joining the EU, and the whole like revolution started over Yanukovych not wanting to start eventually join the EU, right? So Ternopil, Lviv, blah blah, all of these Western cities.
It's a weird
I guess
survey.
You just didn't recognize. Look at the data, how it's presented, but also how he says the divide looks like. He basically says that it's like some sort of 50-50 or whatever, but
it's complex. It's very complex divide.
Some cities, the most support the Russian customs union ever gets is fucking 22% in Kharkiv and Mykolaiv. Kharkiv is, by the way, the one that's being bombed, and it's like right at the border with Russia. But it's 22%. The most that EU gets is 92%. But this graph shows that basically people in Mykolaiv, Kharkiv, and Odessa, the Russians, more like Russian-speaking regions, just don't know. They basically mostly say, I don't know, I don't care. And the central western parts, including Kiev, they say other, and they say don't know, no answer.
So are you saying shenanigans on this number? They do know and they're lying because it would make the numbers look
no.
Good?
The data might be correct, but the way he uses this graph is misleading, because he tries to portray this as some sort of 50-50, but it's actually like, if you count all of these together, it's like 80% to 5%. So like 22% of several cities, 25% of Odessa, 25% of Kharkiv, 25% of Mykolaiv want, only 25% of several cities want to join Russian bullshit.
Yeah. If anything, he's making a point here.
And all of these majorities,
he's almost making a point like, might as well join EU. Like See,
Yeah,
I thought he was being
most
pretty
people-
even in this. He's saying that most people in
Yeah,
Ukraine want to
because
join.
he presents like part of his whole. This is why it bugs me. How many views does this have, dude? This is complete
23 million,
disinformation. This
wow.
whole video, 23
It's 6
million.
years ago.
And it had, dude. No. Look, I've seen this video.
Yeah.
Before the conflict started, YouTube was pushing this into my face, like
Yeah.
like for everyone else. It had like 5 million views prior.
It's at
So over 5
23
years.
million. Dude,
In a
these
month, it
15
it
million
collected
in the last
20
month.
million in a month.
15, 20 million in a month.
15
because
15
but
in a
it's timely, right? Like he did, like, listen, say whatever
Yeah,
you want,
yeah.
say propaganda.
You-
The guy predicted it and it just came
N-
true. So he's
he
probably
didn't
a
predict,
king right
dude.
now.
He didn't predict shit because he's done like wrong about the Russians' intention or whatever. And anyway, let's watch till he says about the
You
2014,
people
and then
in
we're gonna
peace have
stop
little
on this video.
Yeah. I did want to show the part about Georgia.
here.
But yeah, no, let's keep going.
In joining the EU. Those are the EU numbers. Here are the NATO numbers. I mean, these two charts look virtually the same. But all of this tells you that you have a badly divided country. And the conflict between the West.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, I agree with you. It's not badly divided.
Yeah, so
it's like you
so it's
have
not
a
badly-
bunch of cities who are like, we'd rather stay with Russia, but like not even the majority, like 41% to
Now look,
39, and
now
then
look,
there's
look.
this unknown.
This is an interesting numbers too. Look at what actually the numbers say, what chart actually says. So the dark blue is for
NATO.
joining NATO. The red is against joining NATO. Everything else is would not vote or don't know, no answer, don't care, right?
Yeah.
Also keep in mind that all of these surveys is kind of a gamble too, because if you I used to study sociology. I studied philosophy, and it's adjacent to sociology. We had some classes, and people from the sociology major were like people usually just run off and don't care and just give a brief. They don't think about it. They just like, yeah, fuck off. I didn't care about your study, whatever.
These are easy to fake. These are so easy to fake. And my buddy's a lawyer in Canada. And he hates like all this shit. He showed me a book and he said it's Bill Gates is one of his favorite books. It's called How to Lie with Statistics. It's like a famous book, but it's called How to Lie with Statistics. And you can basically make up propaganda like this. I feel like that's what both sides are doing. Russia's making up theirs. NATO has theirs or whatever.
He doesn't even, but why are okay? He doesn't even lying here. He basically presents this as some sort of look at the divide, but it's not like the red is not people who want to join Russia. The red is basically it's pro NATO versus neutral.
Yeah, versus no.
The red
NATO,
is neutral.
And then
the red is no NATO. The blue is pro NATO.
Yeah.
So it's not really fair, but he says that it's a NATO versus Russia conflict. So it doesn't have the question that do you want to join Russian defensive alliance is not in here in this survey.
Yeah, it's not even in the survey. And but this is the kind of stuff they go through in that book, How to Lie with Statistics, where they say like you can just make up the study. And some people do it consciously, they're liars. And some people are doing it because they just believe in something and they want to prove it so bad. But you have this bias as a scientist putting it together. You're like, oh, let me ask the question like this. Like if I ask the question like this, I'll get a clean answer, but it won't prove my point.
They do this with like again switching to like far right for like fascists and Nazis too. They do this with the racial statistics bullshit. Like the 1350 it's called, I think, like the blacks are doing more crime than the whites, but like the number doesn't, like the implication is very different from the real reason, but the data needs to be interpreted. Just because something happens doesn't necessarily leads to like a racist conclusion. But if you have a bias, when you hear, oh, the blacks are doing more crime, it doesn't, like, for people who are not racist, it's going to be like, oh, so you mean like the judicial system is discriminating in America against black people? This is why the numbers are like this, which is like the case. But for the racists, it's like, that's because they're inherently more violent or whatever.
No, you know what's so funny about that? Like that's my red line with people.
It doesn't
like,
have to be even a lie, you know?
I mean, I'm willing to hear a lot of right-wing theories from people, but that's the crossing line moment where I'm like willing to listen, oh, communism's coming, this, that, whatever. But when someone sends me like Amish, black people are more violent, I'm like, okay, we're done. I'm not, I can't take anything seriously now. Now I know you're
Yeah.
just a complete nut job. Like that's correct. Because all of those articles are
Yeah,
nonsense.
you just say an N-word one time and that's it. I mean, maybe 2 times, and but then after that, it's pretty much useless. Yeah.
You're done. International
Yeah,
Republican Institute. Who's this Republican Institute? So weird. I don't know. International Republican Institute. They just make up a
Russia
study.
over Ukraine is played out in the context of this situation. This is a simple little view graph that shows Europe's dependent on Russian gas.
Again, the study can be
quite clear
true.
from
He
that
can
view graph.
Yeah.
he just uses it to prove a point that it doesn't. He implies a conclusion that like all of the red ones is people who never want to join, but it's actually like neutral. So
yeah, just said no to
they
joining. They didn't even say like we
they
love
just-
Russia.
Yeah.
It's the fact that he made them
exactly,
red. It's like 'cause
exactly.
blue is America, red is Russia.
Yeah.
This much is Russia. Yeah, I mean it's the Republican Institute.
Okay.
Like they probably do it.
Skip
go
skip ahead
Russian.
a little. Skip
Yeah,
ahead
you
a
wanna skip
little.
ahead?
Same.
I do
All
want to
this
get to the
time,
Georgia
you
thing.
have a badly divided country.
Let's do the to the
Conflict between
2014
West
and
Russia
then
over
Georgia.
Ukraine,
That's it.
Hungary incorporated into NATO.
This is my shit.
Yeah,
This is my
he-
issue. That I feel
It's
like
alright, dude. Okay,
yeah, but okay.
I
we'll talk
support
about it.
this. Dude.
Be pro-Western. So we're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. We're promoting democracy and getting leaders who are pro-American. But again, you can see the strategy here: NATO expansion, EU expansion, and promoting democracy.
Wow, so you're saying this guy's just
Expansion.
a Putin puppet, and he gets a
For
script from
sure.
Putin, and he's like, so you see,
No,
it's
no, no.
NATO
I think
attacking them.
he might believe this for other reasons. He just like
Yes.
basically he all of the okay. So this one is it's very sus in the other like it's very
Right.
disinformation in the other portions of the video.
He sounds so reasonable in this, doesn't he? He just sounds so nice. That's the problem.
Well,
That's a big
they
issue.
always-
He's bald.
Dude,
So you
yeah,
trust him.
that's the issue. And Jordan Peterson also sounds very reasonable. And,
Oh,
it's
Bill
a
Gates in
professor.
that. Bill Gates in
Yeah,
that nerd
Bill Gates
sweater.
for sure.
I
dude.
just want to help all humanity.
I just want
He's-
to help.
He's like,
Yeah,
I
you know,
just-
Elon Musk
hey,
also
guys,
sounds very
I
reasonable.
did some numbers, and I just think no, I feel like Elon Musk is trying to be a bad boy. You know what I mean? And same with that Jeff Bezos. trying to be
Okay,
sexy.
he's a weirdo, but there are some. There is this Polish far righter who's like an old bald guy
Yeah.
who speaks with like a strong accent.
Rips.
And I'm just saying that people have they have a different I'm allowed to, I'm ethnically Polish, so I'm allowed to make fun of Polish accent. They have a different opinion, and women are they just do less. This is why they get less wages. They do more, they do less money because the job is different, and women are doing different things. But then like actually when you go deep enough, he's like ethno-nationalist or whatever, and actually like does Hitler apology. Yeah.
But
Well,
that
actually,
is
Hitler,
even
he's not that bad. Actually, that it was good for the country. The Polish nation was actually like.
But don't you
in
find
a
that
better position now?
conservatives-
These gays are.
but don't you find that conservatives are genuine in the sense that like they do seem genuinely worried? Like I don't think Jordan Peterson is saying I'm going to grift everyone. I think he wakes up in the morning and goes, "Oh God, they're turning gay. They're communists." Like they seem like legit worried.
I mean, look.
My family seems upset. Like if he's trying to sell me on a Amish, Muslim coming, Muslim, all Muslim, and white people liberal,
That's
all having sex with prostitutes.
That's the problem.
Western culture garbage. If I don't agree, he's like, Amish, don't be like them. I'm gonna lose you. Like
I think
believe
Wash
that,
was
man.
doing like his the video is called like Politics 101 or something, and he like basically says that it's kind of I just straight up remember who was saying right that everyone like there are some people you can't really know who's disingenuous or not, but like most people in their politics they want just a good life and great outcomes for like themselves, their families, and mostly everyone, right? They
We're like
just want
80%
everyone to
moderate.
be great.
Yeah.
Sorry?
We're like 80% moderate. We're not.
It's not
at
just
those
moderate.
extreme
Like
poles.
even everyone thinks that they are a good guy, and everyone in their politics they think that
Right.
they want the good for the humanity and everything.
100%.
But then the divide starts when how do we actually get there? And this is where politics come in. This is where disinformation comes in. This is where everything comes in. This is where the argument starts, because all of a sudden one side says that we need like less capitalism, and the other side says, oh, actually, this data from the World Bank confirms that we need more capitalism, guys. Actually, capitalism good. Like, and this is where both sides want good things. But and I guess there are like
they do believe
who just want violence, but
this is what I mean.
Like regular people want, like regular conservatives want. No, they are just being lied to. Like that's what it is. And on the left, the truth is on our side. So I don't have to make up statistics. I can straight up go in and anything. I don't have to.
I do find
about anything.
No, but nobody's saying lie. Like I feel like the only difference between me and you is that like you're saying one side is evil. I'm saying they're evil, but these guys have some fault in it.
Oh, I think the heads like so regular like conservative voters are not evil, but all of the talking heads, all of the politicians straight up are evil. That if you take
I mean if you think
take
military...
like if you take American Democratic Party as, I don't consider them, they are not left. They're left of, they're like another right-wing party. So
100%, 100%.
So, and the same, like neoliberals, like
very pro-NATO
in Canada.
They're very involved in NATO, the Democrats. By the way, the Democrats, they're very involved in NATO. I think they have.
I would be bombed here if not for like Joe Biden, to be honest. Like
that is true.
If Putin is a fucking friend of not for the sanctions and stuff, I would straight up be in West Ukraine. I would still get I want to say nuked, but I would get like
what about the idea
out of the house basically?
Dude, what about the idea? And this is Trump was on Nelk Boys recently, and he's like, if I was in charge, Putin never would have done it. Putin never would have done it. I'd be there. I'd be on top of him. He doesn't move, and that's it. You think so or no? You think Biden? Like, what did Biden do? I thought that was so.
Oh no, Biden didn't do anything that special. He just is in line with all of the other like
NATO.
He's not. No. The thing is not. The problem is not Biden specifically. It could be someone else. Like Bernie would do the same thing. He's also anti.
I think the Democrats,
his take was very
part
good.
of the issue with them is that they're fully bought in by you're saying there's just two right-wing parties in America. And I think part of the reason why there's only two right-wing parties is because the Democrats are fully into military shit. So they're looking for excuses to go to war too.
If America had a fully left-wing party, it would also support Ukraine. Like if it's not some sort of weird Russian propaganda, but I guess if they're in power, they wouldn't be. They would still give aid to Ukraine. And,
they would give aid
and sanction Russia as well, because what else?
But the difference, I think, is that until now they wouldn't be aggressing on them until now. See, like that's the only difference.
Let's get to the video though. Let's finish the video. It's such a tangent. Like we
I know we were so tangenty. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
We're both very tangent.
Say a bit more about NATO expansion because it's so important.
Okay.
We talked about this. Let's skip the NATO expansion part. He basically says, like, into wars, he says, like, oh, there used to be some countries in NATO, and now there are more countries in NATO. And he says that, like, Russia is afraid of NATO, basically. He says the Russian propaganda talking line here. About 2014.
But let's not skip. You want to skip over that? Like, doesn't he have a point? Like, he think he has a point at all?
No.
Like if you're Putin and you're here, because look, here's the thing. If the Russians made an alliance with Canada and said, hey, I'm just going to put some missiles in Canada, or I'm just going to have we're friends and we're going to make a treaty alliance.
We have nuclear submarines. We have submarines of Russia floating unnoticed anywhere on the globe right now. If the Russia gets nuked today completely, which is not even possible because there are some like shields that can basically like preventive measures that can shoot down rockets. But if the entirety of the Russia ceases to exist, the retaliation will be done by their nuclear submarines somewhere in the ocean. No one knows where right now with nukes. The same goes for America. The same goes for most nuclear powers, most countries like that. It doesn't, the whole border shit doesn't make any sense. And what else?
That's why I think NATO has failed. NATO should be preventing these kinds of things.
But then also, they did. You know what? UK, Russia, and US denuclearized Ukraine. Ukraine used to have nukes. We got third of our of USSR's nuclear potential.
Wow.
After the fall of Soviet Union.
You got to split it
Reasonable, because Ukraine was a big part of Soviet Union. But it wasn't just like a part of the Warsaw Pact or whatever. It was in Soviet Union from almost like very beginning. But in 2013, it's called the Budapest. Sorry, not 2014. In 20, sorry, not 20, because it's so long ago. In 1994, it's called the Budapest Memorandum. And he doesn't talk about this, I don't think. Ukraine signed a treaty with US and UK and Russia for like you can look it up. It's in Wikipedia. It's pretty short, but basically we were like it was the only country. Ukraine is the only country who willingly denuclearized itself ever.
Right.
It never happened before, and it probably, because of this war right now, it probably never will happen, because everyone in the right mind right now will, when offered denuclearization, will just think, what about the Ukraine though? Ukraine got attacked, and they would never attack us with nukes. So I'm not even like pro nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons are scary as fuck, right? But you can just say that, NATO should. They tried, I guess. They didn't.
Well, not even nuclear
weapons,
weapons, but what about just like a military being on your border? Like, what about the argument people say that, like, if Russia made a deal with Canada and said we're now allowed to have, like, we have an alliance with them and we're allowed to put troops there.
But your allies with, I mean, wait. US is at Russia's border though. Basically,
they shouldn't be there either. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
no, the Alaska, the state.
Oh, Alaska. Yeah, they're at the border there.
Yeah, it's over there. There's like a couple of kilometers from the Siberia. What can they?
Yeah, regardless, it's American centric, right? Because if any other country did this,
no, it doesn't matter. That's the thing. It doesn't matter, because everyone can nuke everyone else. Like Russia will never get invaded. Never. Like they have their nuclear potential is so large that any of these countries will never get invaded, especially by NATO or America. Like it's based. No one will dare to do it, because they will get nuked instantly. Indeed is 21st century, and this guy.
They're sending out. Like, there's people in America and Russia sending out tweets talking about nuclear war, saying like, "Let's go." And also, how people in America are saying, and Democrats in America are saying they're too scared. They're not going to use nukes. Let's go to war. And then people in Russia are saying, what good is the world without a Russia? If we got to do it, we'll do it.
Russian nationalism, one of the scariest thing, you can call it like a nuclear nationalism too, because
nuclear
they don't have a good, they don't have an economy, like their economy is dog shit. Yeah. They didn't have a democracy. They didn't have any good cultural experts. It's a joke, like the Russian movies or whatever.
Well, they split. You guys probably make the good movies in Ukraine. Like,
no, we don't. We also have it.
But what about the shows that Zelensky's in? You don't like those shows?
That's like the only one good. No, it's not. Maybe in the future we will. Like, but I feel like everyone, including me, right? Like, it's also kind of cultural imperialism. If you want to do show business, previously, until like very recently, with all of this invasion shit, you would just go to Russia. Right now, you like me. I'm going to the West, right? I'm doing stuff for the Americans.
For the American.
But like it's kind of weird with the languages also. That a lot of people. Anyway, it's also a tangent. But what I'm saying is, if Russia invade, okay. We can really skip over this. I wanna go to the factual stuff, because there is a debate to be here about NATO, whatever you think about NATO, even though you're wrong, right? But it doesn't really matter.
You don't
talk about this for days.
You don't see any American military shenanigans here, like just making up excuses.
Yeah, okay.
Playing with other countries, like governments.
I also
the way they do in the Middle East. Like, there's not some shenanigans here. You don't think?
Russia is capitalist.
That's what I mean. Why is there a NATO if they're
Already.
capitalist? NATO is here to stop communism from spreading.
Because NATO is not America. NATO, again, you're in America-centric. You're not even an American. Neither am I. But like,
yeah,
you're in the America-centric.
I'm in the American empire.
Because
I'm a vassal state.
I guess you're in the.
We are the crown jewel in Canada. We're not crown jewel, but we're a dominion of the American empire. Sure.
The funny money Canadian dollar America. Yeah, I know.
The silly money.
Yeah, the colored money. It doesn't make any sense that Russia would be first. Russia is a nuclear power. They wouldn't be. It doesn't. Second, it doesn't really matter what the nukes right now. Who's at whose border. Third, it's not like Russia. It fully embraced oligarchic authoritarian capitalism they have.
Okay.
And fourth is it doesn't like. The thing they do right now, they're invading, trying to occupy Ukraine. They're gonna be at the Poland's border then, all of a sudden.
And yeah, I know. And that's why he was saying in 2014, like, I'll stay here, you stay there. He even let them take all these countries, but he just said Georgia and Ukraine, don't touch it. Those are my babies.
Bro, no one takes anyone's countries. That is, NATO is an alliance. Like it's completely different structurally from an empire. It's just like countries signing up to work together.
I don't support Russia. I don't support Putin. But the idea that NATO is some kind of happy organization, it's a military organization.
It's not happy. It's a military organization, but it's a defensive pact, right?
So
that's
Russia,
what it is.
Can Russia do this with Canada? Can Russia do this with Mexico?
Yeah, they can. If they have a defensive pact, not whatever they want to do with Ukraine, a puppet government. And what they done with Belarus when they
but you're saying NATO's not doing this stuff?
I'm down with.
I feel like NATO's doing this.
Russia can. Okay, look. There is no reason, and also again, this is very American-centric, but also like Russia-centric, I guess, because is NATO like let me ask you this:
Tell me.
Is NATO a threat to Ukraine?
Well, yeah, if they just shake their ass in front of them and never actually go in to help or give them access. Because with Ukraine and Georgia, they've been saying, hey, guys,
should Ukraine
look at this ass, look at this NATO ass, and then in the end, they don't let them join. Russia attacks, they don't come in with the tanks. They didn't help them in 2014.
They should have let Ukraine join. They didn't let join because of the appeasing Putin, because again, this goes against the Russian narrative that they want Ukraine to join, but they didn't let Ukraine in for years, even though the popular support was there.
Joining NATO, yeah.
Anyway, if Russia is afraid of wait, just one question.
Go for it.
If Russia is afraid of being attacked by NATO, why shouldn't Ukraine is not a part of the NATO, right? Why shouldn't Ukraine be terrified of NATO? Like, if NATO has such a horrible history, why shouldn't Ukraine be afraid of being bombed by NATO? Even though Poland is in NATO, I think Romania is in NATO and Turkey is in NATO, and
because I think NATO's using them
so
as a pawn to start fights with Russia. That's what I think they're doing, basically. I think that's what I mean. They're playing with people's lives. Like with Georgia,
structurally, like there is nothing. Like previously, you would make an argument that Russia is like super different because, sorry, not Russia, actually Soviet Union, because Ukraine was part of Soviet Union. Okay. Previously, you would make an argument, oh, NATO is anti-communist or whatever. Okay, so like Soviet Union has a reason to be afraid of like ideologically opposing alliance. Okay, right now Russia is completely like it's as capitalist as it gets.
Yeah.
Why would there is no objective reason why would they
I'll tell you, because I always I think from the
Russia,
beginning,
as at its weakest,
why
wouldn't they attack now? Why don't they just pussy out? There was no escalation. There was no Ukraine was trying to push for this no-fly zone.
I'll tell you why they didn't attack.
They're scared as fuck of Russia.
Yeah, let me answer both questions. So first, what I think anyway. I actually forgot the first one, but the second one I'll tell you. I think what NATO's doing is they want to fight with Russia. Like what they won't admit. Okay, so the whole thing of like, we got to fight communism. I think it's always been a fugazi. I think these guys ended World War II. There's way too much money in militarism. There's way too much money in the military industrial complex. So they got to find some reason to just keep poking the bear with Russia. So what they do is they use these countries as pawns. They go, hey, join our union. We're just like a friendly little union, whatever, knowing that like
they didn't.
As they take over.
That's the thing. There was no like that's a Russian talking point again, because there was no official invitation to join or anything like that. There was like some basically some old men talk to each other about joining potentially some crap like that. Like it doesn't mean anything. It's not on paper. It's not anything.
So then shut it down. Why have this organization that's inherently just
to not get bound by Russia? What do you mean shut it down? Why are you keep insisting on this? This guy is wrong.
I'm just saying, why can't both be wrong? I'm not saying Russia's not wrong. Russia's also wrong.
How is NATO wrong?
I don't know if it's debunked. I don't know if it's debunked. I mean, look,
it is.
It's not. This doesn't mean me saying I love Russia. I love Putin. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying there can be two. You know what I think this is?
There can be in theory, but right now you're wrong. There's this other argument. Appeal to hypocrisy is how American liberals criticize oligarchy in Russia and crap like that. So yeah. Here I agree. Like America also has a great wealth inequality issue, and it sucks in a lot of ways. And like capitalism is not only bad in Russia, but it's bad in America too.
Right.
But first of all, the timing of like doing whataboutism with Russia is weird. Like, why would you bring this up?
Oh, I'll tell you what. Because we got to get to the bottom of this.
Thing.
They just keep making excuses to go to war all the time. That's my issue, is that like, it seems to me like you have NATO, you have this military industrial complex. They're always finding excuses to go to war all the time.
Okay, when was the last time like they pulled out of Afghanistan even recently?
Yeah, I know. So they're looking for a new war. That's my issue with it.
Well,
see, like, aren't you guys just looking for wars all the time?
There is no NATO in Ukraine. There is no war. Again, if you were correct on this, they would first escalate at least once, and they didn't. Not even with the no-fly zone, which is like the mildest thing they can do with the direct involvement.
A lot of Democrats want to do it,
dude. Okay, Democrats maybe, but the NATO is not America. Like NATO is like a bunch of other countries in Europe, and America is there historically because those countries were weak as fuck after the Second War.
You're gonna say America's not 100% in charge of NATO, just like they're not 100%
it's a large power in NATO,
UN.
But it doesn't. Dude, they're like footballing airplanes around. They pay for all between NATO countries. Do you know about this? Ukraine been promised these new fighter jets from some of the NATO members directly, not even from NATO. And I think Poland and Bulgaria and someone else, they're like they don't know how to deliver. They all trying to football these airplanes, sending them to Ukraine. They all are like, no, not from our border, not from our country. Can someone else do it? Maybe you can do it? Maybe you can do it? Because they are all afraid of aggression, retaliation of Russia towards them because they were giving direct like military aid in form of like airplanes to Ukraine. All of these countries are appeasing Putin like crazy. Basically, all of what they're doing right now is like the least amount of help they could ever do, and still Russia will. If this never even happened, if NATO didn't do anything, if NATO didn't exist, Russia right now would make up some shit. They would say that EU is aggressor. They would say that UK is aggressor for no reason.
They would. And I'm not saying they're not wrong too.
Whatever.
But the organization made to fight that is going to be like that a little bit. Like, I mean,
my microphone keeps falling. Let's get to see.
Let's get to
the debate. Let's get to the thing I wanted to talk about.
Tell me.
Briefly.
Do you know approximately?
Just skip ahead. He's going to show the graph about 2013. Maybe that's in the middle. Okay, just skip like with the L key on your keyboard.
Oh wait.
Like 10 seconds.
No.
With with Al. Yeah, like 10 seconds. Okay, go back where he was. Okay, because you weren't there. Okay, good.
Yeah, I was here. Okay, but Al goes forward.
Oh yeah, this. Okay, and mute and let's listen. Let's go back a little.
At that point, very important.
Okay.
Is a direct threat to okay.
And then what happens is you have a war.
Which is not.
So those are the deep causes, those three strategies: NATO expansion, EU expansion, and promoting democracy.
That promoting democracy, I think, is a bullshit too. It's like, what do you mean promoting democracy? Like all these countries are democratic.
What you mean is like Russia doesn't have any sort of democracy, and they will do whatever they say, and Ukraine gets to actually have an election. That's what's
right.
I'm not even gonna like.
So he's basically saying
leftist, like neoliberal democracy is not a real democracy. Shit, it's definitely an upgrade. To an authoritarianism, whatever promoting democracy EU does, for example.
Yeah, true.
What about the precipitating cause? Key events leading up to the coup. It's the coup of February 22nd, 2014.
So remember the documentary, right?
Yeah.
That's about the loaded language. This is what I wanted to talk about. And also the events he's talking about here. And this is very interesting and very, again, like sassy-wassy, okay? So he says coup, which is like a term, like coup d'etat or whatever. You know what it is, right?
It's like overthrowing
the military term, overthrowing the government. So what he implies here is for you to think, oh, it's like America did in like where did they do it in like Venezuela or whatever, or some in like Latin America. It's like US done in Latin America. They do a coup and install a dictator. It's like it's installation of the dictator, right? We got normal and South Korea. Wait, what do you mean by
well, he's saying that a lot of times the Americans are saying that we want to create democracy somewhere, but they're not really doing that. Like a lot of these military, it's just an excuse.
Wait, but they did create like South Korea functions. There are problems.
Yeah, I feel like South Korea
functions.
Yeah, please, Martin.
Like
that's Americans, a weird example because I feel like South Korea is the American side, and
fine,
they actually
right?
they're doing great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually,
like,
he's maybe proving your point. He might.
It's
be
actually
on your
better
side.
than a lot of like I can criticize South Korea a lot, but like it's not. How is this a good example? I don't.
It's better than North Korea. I mean, it's basically
right because everyone shits in the. But also, North Korea was kind of created by Soviet Union, right? It was a proxy state of Soviet Union too. It wasn't like all of a sudden. They weren't like, oh, let's reinvent all of the like all of the Soviet communist aesthetics ourselves. They were influenced directly by Soviet Union. Yeah, let's talk about his coup term, right? Right. He basically presents the whole thing. He calls it a coup as if it's been overthrowing the government. And coup implies that there is like this dictator that is a complete puppet of the West. But in fact, we had several elections and real elections and democratic elections, and it was incredibly basically he calls ousting of the president that was corrupt. And you've seen the documentary. He was from the day one. He was he ordered to beat up and kill a bunch of people.
Yeah, and at some point, like I think Putin was giving
crap.
him people, or like
and
basically Putin was telling him like you got to.
Putin was telling him what to do because he was. So there is a personal thing, but he basically was like a personal buddies with Putin, and the conspiracies, of course, he was like directly threatened by Putin to Putin
he always looked like such an idiot too. He looks so dumb, that guy.
And officially,
he's so silly.
Basically,
that guy.
Russia was like
he's dancing somewhere.
Russia was like, oh, look at oh my god. I will send you this.
What's his name? Lukashenko? No, Lukashenko.
No. Yeah, I will send you a funny video.
Send it to me. Send it to me you can send it to me on Zoom.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that is wild.
Okay, just keep watching.
And that is actually a good point that you're making. It's like Putin, I'm not denying like Putin is messing with these countries. Like he's aggressing on them too. So that is the other side of it. No, it's complex.
Okay, let me debunk this. Let me debunk this video. Let's just watch about he calls this a coup. This is not a coup in any way. This is insane. But
Yeah.
let me just send you a
This
funny
is
video
like a
and,
democratic. This is basically a democratic strike, like not a strike, but a democratic protest that the people did, and
Yes.
then the government
It
got
was a
really
protest.
violent with them, and then he's calling
Yeah.
that a coup, which is bullshit.
Yeah, but the context for this is people were very fed up, like over the Yanukovych. He was elected democratically,
Yeah.
but over the like 3 years of his rule, things got a lot more like authoritarian, and he basically, just like Putin was elected democratically, but then he was turning this crane of
Evil.
this type of democracy slowly. He was tying this knot of authoritarianism to close the democracy, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's funny how when
Yanukovych was doing the same.
Yeah,
And
when
he
Yeltsin
promised-
first appointed Putin, I think Clinton was over there, and he goes, "This guy's kind of wild, right?" And Yeltsin's like, "Hey, I can't control him. You do whatever you got to do." Like Yeltsin's like, "I can't." Putin,
Here's
he's like, "I'm
doing,
scared of him." He's like,
like
I think
the
he
chat.
was scared of Putin. I think Yeltsin put him in charge, and then said, "Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
control the guy. He just does whatever the hell he wants." And
Well,
hey, good luck with that. Like he's like
Putin used to
Yeltsin's
be-
probably like, "Yo, he's a real psycho. Good luck with
Putin used to
that."
be a KGB agent, straight up. Like he was a KGB careerist. Like he was like
Yeah.
a KGB jumped to the president candidate.
In this documentary, it sounds like Yeltsin's like, "Hey, man,
Oh yeah. Also keep in mind,
he's
keep in mind
basically in
that
charge
Russians,
now." But really, Yeltsin put him in the position.
Russians can't really do it. Like all of the adult population of the post-Soviet Russia never voted in their entire life. They just had one party.
Yeah, no, they
That's
never
it,
voted.
right? So to them,
He's a
all of a
Putin. He's a
sudden
dictator.
when-
He's a legit dictator. Like no doubt.
Yeah, but again, he gets power democratically, and then he slowly creates authoritarian laws, and this is what Yanukovych was doing. So people were fed up with him at first, but at first it was just a peaceful protest against, basically, like, and Yanukovych promised joining the EU eventually. This is how he won. He was basically appealing to all of the
EU voters,
all of the Eastern people with like, he promised to make Russian language a second national language.
Yeah.
But also he promised to join the EU. So parts of both like the divide he was describing, there was like a political divide, but they weren't. Basically, this guy tries to portray a political divide as a separatist movement. Basically, it's basically as if he's saying like U.S. also has a political divide, but he basically says like, actually,
like January 6th is a coup.
Democrats want to join China. Actually, that's basically what he says.
Yeah. Well, also coup implies that the people who did, like, it implies that the people got violent, but in this case, the government just got violent. So he won the election, saying, "I'm gonna do this thing for, like, I'm gonna join us up to the EU." Then he comes in, he falls under Putin,
Who implies a foreigner force doing a coup on? Who implies like an American appointed or like a European appointed dictator. That's what, and it's just simply not the case, because we had several elections since then, and even the guy there was a temporary guy, and it was actually even. How this worked democratically is that Yanukovych was. So you've seen in the documentary, Yanukovych was. People were basically inclined to sue and to like convict Yanukovych for his crimes of. That's my favorite, dude. Look at this. No,
He's
music.
so
Let's do music. Music.
Oh, music, yeah.
Fine. Yeah. Let's do it. It's not copyrighted. It's just some random crap. That's Yanukovych.
Is he wasted? No, right now I don't know.
The wind is very strong.
Because Yeltsin was wasted so much.
This was such a meme, dude. And look who's next to him. That's Medvedev. That's the Putin's guy.
Wow.
He's doing this whole thing.
Dude, Putin's guy is there? He's like
yeah, that's his prime minister. That's his at the time. This was 2010. This is where
Dude,
This is
imagine.
when Putin was replacing himself for 4 years. He was replacing himself, like I was saying, like not only 2 terms in the row,
Yeah.
but not in the row. You can do how many terms?
Yeah. So
however you
basically, you were telling us yesterday. You were explaining how Putin holds, like, how basically he's like a legal dictator because they have a 2-term limit.
Well, at
So
this point,
he does
might
2
not
terms.
care.
Then he switches his title for 4 years. Then he comes
Back in
back to the thing. So now he's on his first term of his second round. But in between,
Yeah,
he did
but
4 years as like another person, but he was still in charge of everything.
I think he's on the second term of his second round. I think he was
second term of
practically in
second round.
power. Yeah. So the next time would be, but I think this time he might not care anymore.
That's
he
that's
just
an honest mistake. That's an honest mistake.
Everyone laughed. Like this was the meme in Ukraine.
That's
everyone,
honest.
Like, a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people.
You're making me like this guy. He seems like a sweet guy. You're making me like this guy. He seems like a nice guy now. No, but the worst though, dude. Imagine.
No, he's not.
So this is Putin's guy, right?
I remember he ordered to kill protesters. Just remember.
Oh yeah. No, this guy's vicious. In that documentary. But yo, which one's Putin's
let's continue the video.
But
so not a cool.
Who's Putin's guy here? This guy?
One of these guys with another this guy. Yeah.
Dude, can you imagine Putin send his guy full time to come watch you? That's basically what it was in the documentary. It's like he has a guy there and he's like, no, send the cops. Like, even when the protesters were protesting peacefully, Putin was in his ear saying like, no, you got to get violent with them. Shut that shit down. Like squat. So no, fair enough, dude, fair enough. You know, this is good points you're bringing up.
Promoting democracy, the coup, February 22nd, 2014. So the question is, what causes the coup? It all starts in November of 2013. At that point, President Yanukovych, who's the head of Ukraine, is negotiating with the EU to form an association agreement that brings the EU and Ukraine much closer together. It's a step in the direction of incorporating Ukraine into the European Union, or to put it in
Winter on Fire. This is what the documentary is about. It's incredible. I highly recommend it. It's now on YouTube and it's on Netflix. It's a powerful documentary. It's so tight.
This whole thing about the like, I literally remember my grandparent. Like, I was a child before this, like in like 2008 or some shit, like, or 2007 or whatever. People were talking. Everyone want, like, because life in the level of life you get in EU is far superior. Like the salaries are better, the jobs are better, the democracy is stronger, everything. Like everyone who ever heard of, who has a family member or whatever, a friend who ever been to any EU country is like, yeah, we need to be more like EU. No one is like, we need to be, and Russia is a shithole even compared to Ukraine these days.
Russia's And then Russia's, you know what it is? Like, Russia's just failing. And then they're like, you don't want to be friends with us? He's like, he's so offended. He's just like, you don't want to be friends with Russia anymore? Come on, man.
Yeah, basically.
It's basically like New York leaving America and being like, you guys suck, dude. And
I appreciate this. I appreciate you comparing Ukraine to New York. I like that.
It's like the New York of Russia. Yeah.
Slightly different terms incorporating Ukraine.
Of USSR, I guess.
Of USSR, yeah, true. No longer Russia. Oh, it breaks their hearts. You're breaking their hearts, brother. But then they're being
using also using like it's kind of offensive, really. Like you in the context of USSR, calling USSR Russia, while it was like a there was a lot of like Russian imperialism within the USSR. Let's say people who fought in the most people died from the World War II, the biggest by nation, right? The largest nation is
Russia.
The one, no,
USSR,
it's not
USSR.
Russia. It's not like, well, USSR is not a nation. USSR is an alliance of a bunch of nations.
Soviet Union.
That's USSR.
Is that it? Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, no. Which one? Wait,
okay.
What was it called?
It's Poland and Ukraine, the second one. So the most people, basically, when Americans say like, oh, Russia fought in World War II, well, the most people that, like, it's entirety of USSR the third of all
Wow.
USSR forces were Ukrainians, and now Russia is trying to deny all of that. They're like, oh,
Wow.
it's only we actually didn't need Ukraine and blah blah blah. But it was again on the territories of Ukraine also. Like that
Wow.
time,
This is very interesting.
Western Ukraine that suffered. So
You're bringing
yeah,
in a whole nother
basically-
layer of trauma here from World War II here, where
yeah,
it's like
yeah, for
you're
sure.
basically saying
Because
like Ukraine was the ones who
guess
fought
what?
in World War II too. And yeah, that's what,
Ukraine
like, a lot of the
got
big
fucked
battles
over
are.
by World War II, by the Nazi regime,
Yeah.
the western parts of Ukraine, and then got fucked over by all of the political repressions, and previously got fucked over by political repressions of USSR, then by the war, and then by the political repressions
Right.
again,
So
and
y'all
then
are
by
just
this
done with that.
again.
And you're saying NATO, come on in, baby.
Yeah,
Let's go.
actually,
We want to
like
go.
on like a kind of larger level, yes, people are done. Everyone, why is everyone so opposed to like Soviet Union Part 2, you know, or like or alliance with Russia or whatever? It's basically, well, we see how Putin is right now, but even before that, even in like even in the beginning of 2000s, no one wants, like, everyone actively seeked to abolish Soviet Union. No one wants that anymore. We all
Yeah.
remember all of the economic struggles of
Do you want to
Soviet
see them
Union
broken
even
up
at the
further?
time.
Do you want to see them broken up further now? Like is Russia because I heard Pakistan might split apart into four
I want a
countries
new.
a little bit.
I want them to overthrow their government and have like a new
Democracy.
truly democratic liberal sort of.
You're
or
saying one
something,
step
yeah.
at a time, but I
Russia.
feel like there's countries that could split out of Russia. Like I think there's some countries that they have because they were an
Yeah,
empire, but it's
for
like,
sure.
like, is Mongolia out yet? I feel no, Mongolia is out,
No.
but I feel like they have some like
some Siberian nations, like Yakutia, which is like a an Asian ethnicity and part of the Russian Russian Republic, as they call it. Oh, so not Republic, it's something else. Russian
Russian, not
the
Federation.
full Russian Federation,
Federation.
part of the Federation. So they have a bunch of nations, but they don't actively seek. I don't feel like they actively seek
trying to
like
leave?
separatism or whatever.
Huh.
They just want, again, Russia also, like most like young people who are like middle class and young people, they want to also be more like you.
Western.
They
Yeah.
all also go travel to Europe. They fly, well, not anymore because of the sanctions, but they used to, and they also want to be more like America, more like the EU. They don't want Soviet Union 2.0 either.
Ukraine perspective only on the drip. Everyone else is talking this shit.
Okay,
We're
let's
getting the other
continue
side
with
of it. This is powerful stuff, man. I very interesting discussion. Like I had no idea about.
Yeah,
you're adding on a whole other
don't
layer
get
when
it.
you go to World War II too. But okay, cool. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
The Russians make it clear that this is unacceptable. The Russians are willing to do a deal that involves the EU, Russia, the IMF, and Ukraine. But the idea that Ukraine is going to do a deal exclusively with the EU and the Russians are going to be left out in the cold is not something that Putin is willing to countenance.
Okay.
See, Putin's like
the language here.
But what about, hey, can I be friends? Like, this is where I kind of see.
Dude, it's not okay. The language here. Ukraine wants to do X, but the Russians are not gonna let it. Fuck, dude. My camera died.
You're all bars today, bro. You're bars, baby.
Sorry?
You're all bars today, baby. You're all bars.
It's so annoying. Oh my God.
Just why don't you plug? You don't have a plug for it? Listen, man. Like Russia's
only
attacking
willing
your
to.
country. Don't be hard on yourself.
Only willing to charge when I'm not when it's not on. Yeah, it has to be off the charge.
What do you think of my camera?
So, can you put like me? Can you like is that a thing? Can you put my own picture, like a screenshot on my
I think you have to do that.
On my thing. Okay.
I think you have to do that. I don't think they let me do that. You have to put in like allow record. We need a good picture for you. Yeah, but go ahead, man. You'll find it. I'm gonna read a couple of comments.
Okay, yeah, just read some chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna read some chat, and I do want to say to the audience, like, well, how interesting to have this perspective. I haven't honestly. I'm pretty like I see what you're saying. I think you know what the Buddhists teach. is that there's like universes inside of universes inside of universes. It's almost like Russian doll inside a Russian doll inside a Russian doll. And the way I see this conflict, and this always happens, and I know Ed's going to kill me for saying this, but it's almost like I see America oppressing Russia and then Russia oppressing Ukraine. And it's almost the same on both levels. It's like this big happening here and then this big happening here.
Well, okay, there was like an economic policy that was dictated by American liberals that kind of created this the oligarchy in Russia and Ukraine also. But that's kind of a different conversation. I didn't see how to. Is this because I didn't have an account or something? How do I change my?
Oh, I don't know. But Brian 499 says, without NATO, what stops Putin from expanding into territories that do not want to be under Russia's control? Brian coming in hard on your team. Basically.
Yeah. Okay. That's a question for you. What is it? What is it?
What's stopping Russia?
Yeah, that's a question for you. And the anti-NATO guy.
Yeah, no, I guess my whole thing is that I feel like NATO like kind of makes it happen more. You know what I'm saying? Like and also gives him the excuse to do it. So for example, I was saying about China. I'm not saying it's okay for China to take over Hong Kong now and to take over Taiwan. I'm not saying that. But whenever you ask your politicians and they go, well, America does it. I'm not saying that it's okay for them to do it. But also we do need to criticize on our side and say like, look, it's wrong.
They have another
terrible. But like you guys are destabilizing the region in a lot of ways too. No, I don't know. And then along the way, that becomes the excuse every time. Like it's like right now, Putin has these NATO expansionist excuses. Without this, he would look even more. Without NATO, I feel like we could all just attack him. Because then everyone could just be like on board. Let's go. He's evil.
There is no one, like, as long as there is someone who can retaliate against him, he's gonna play the cry bully and say that's them. They started it. Because right now, Belarus actually the puppet government leader of Belarus was saying that he fired, like, there were some rockets flying from the territory of Belarus into Ukraine. And he was saying that this is a preventive measure. Without this preventive measure, we wouldn't be able to stop Ukrainians who planned the attack they think that they would have. So like they're saying that Ukraine is just, they will always do this. Nazis used to do this too. Again, like it's all, they are protecting their own people against the Jewish conspiracy and blah, blah, blah. It's always the cry bullying, always the same thing over and over.
Yeah. No, it sucks, man. I mean, that's the thing with military people is that I do feel like it's not a matter of like good and evil. It's a matter of escalation, de-escalation. So it's like, are we ramping up or are we kind of winding this thing down?
Well,
so
that's where
the
I feel
problem
like
with NATO is
always, like Europeans used to always try to do this, like diplomatic solution to this conflict with we need to do diplomatic solution, blah blah blah, with Russia. But like if Russia doesn't want to do, like Putin specifically, doesn't need a middle, he wants to do, what's the diplomat, like what he wants is an empire. What's the diplomatic solution here? How do you gonna do? Oh, do you want maybe like half empire or like quarter of empire? Do you want maybe a little less of Ukraine? Do you want maybe some other country instead of Ukraine, or what? Like, how do you gonna de-escalate someone who's essentially, Russia is kind of a terrorist in this thing. They have these nukes,
for sure.
And the nukes are like bombs they're gonna use if you say anything wrong, and they think there's everyone should do whatever they want, opt-in into their demands, and just be nice to them because they have these nuclear bombs.
No, they are terrorists.
Let's continue
but this key events leading to the coup. I gotta say, John Mearsheimer, this professor, if he's doing Russian propaganda, I feel like they would tell him not to include this, but he included this. That's pretty good.
No. This is the framing of Russia. Look at this. Just look. This is what they were telling on the Russian TV. What's going to happen, and they could too. Look.
Wow. Okay.
He offers them a terrific deal, and as you can imagine, the EU is not offering Ukraine a particularly good deal because you know how much corruption there is in Ukraine. And the EU wants Ukraine to eliminate that corruption, which the Ukrainians
Bro, look
really
at
don't
this.
want to do.
Okay,
so what
listen,
Putin does...
Well, that's so
Don't pause it.
offensive,
Okay,
which the
let's
Ukrainians don't
continue.
want to do.
Yeah, what the fuck is he saying? Like that Ukraine doesn't want to eliminate corruption? What is he like? What the Ukraine doesn't want to do? Do you think we want corruption in government? It's like a big
Which the
deal here. Do you
Wow, I
think we
never
want
thought of
all of the
that.
bribery?
Wow,
What an
okay.
idiot, dude!
Yeah,
And also,
no,
look,
you're right.
a terrific. He says a terrific deal, a $15 billion loan.
No, it's like
Dude.
we.
Yeah. Do you think it doesn't come with strings attached? And who's this money gonna be spent on? Like, who's gonna be in control of that money? The pro-Russian puppet government of Putin, or of Yanukovych Putin, or is it in the hands of the like? Will I
agree
ever
with
see
you.
any
I agree
of
with
this
you.
$15 billion loan, which we have to then give back to Russia? So basically.
Yeah.
EU is like, hey, do you want to sign this thing that says in the future we will trade together more, and you're gonna be more like EU, but you have to work on this corruption and be more democratic.
Well, what they showed in the documentary is that basically there's a large demonstration. The Maidan protesters seize Kyiv City Hall, whatever. This like December 1st is accurate, but then what they show in the documentary is that Putin basically paid off like what he's calling a $15 billion loan as if it's some official government thing. In the documentary, they made it clear that it was almost like a payoff to him to say, just beat the shit out of these citizens and tell them that you're never going to join the goddamn EU and you're with me and just pound it. You know what I mean? Just go.
I think
go
he
ham
also,
on them.
he basically wanted to sanction. He started to sanction in Ukraine all of the trade, because we used to have before that we had a lot of trade with Russia too. So a lot of Russian businesses would sell shit and buy shit from Russia, right?
Yeah.
So Russia, when the protests started, all of a sudden, Putin is like, we're sanctioning. So now all of this anti-sanction crap from like lefties I hear is just ridiculous, because the first thing that Russia does to Ukraine when they see any sort of protest, they're like, no, sanction, suffer economically, starve. Like you didn't have enough food, we don't care. We just don't buy shit from us anymore. Illegal. Here you go.
Dude, I can't believe India right now is buying oil from Russia. It's such a slap in the face, but let's continue.
Is not only make it clear that that deal is not going to happen, but he offers a sweetheart deal of his own. So Yanukovych on November 21st says no to the EU. This leads to a series of protests. The Ukrainian government, truth be told, under Yanukovych overreacts to the protests, which causes them to spiral out of control. And in January of 2014, you can see there, January 22nd, 2014, you have your first 2 deaths in the protests. These are the Maidan protests. And then in the February 18th through February 20th.
Look at the bias here.
It's really messy.
He basically says they overreacted a little. And if you watch the documentary, he like murders people on the street.
Yeah. 2 deaths in protests. He doesn't say police kills first 2 people and then police kills 26 more people and then the police kills, because again, before the police escalation,
clashes make it sound equal. Like there's one side and the other side. And it's really peaceful protesters against cops.
But keep in mind also, it's not even like US Canada shit where you guys have guns. No one on the Maidan had weapons. It's not an easy thing to come by. You can get like a hunting rifle for hunting basically, and maybe use it in some very specific circumstance to self-defense in your own house or some shit. Like there are no handguns. It's not easily accessible at all. Sniper rifles that they used, and again, remember there were police special forces on the rooftops with sniper rifles shooting at people, at protesters who had bricks and Molotov cocktails also. Like they got Molotov
cocktails after because they were being like attacked by the cops. Being attacked by
the police started coming in with military police.
Yeah, no, it's messed up. Yeah, I think I saw Winter in Ukraine after this.
Remember the law? Remember the law in the documentary they talk about this. The law they passed that basically doesn't removes the democracy part of Ukraine. Basically, you're not allowed to say anything. You're not allowed to wear a helmet at all. You're not allowed to protest at all. Nothing like that. That was the draconian authoritarian law that they tried to pass, and people walked around with what is it like what's the name of this, like not helmets, but instead of helmets they would put basically buckets and random shit on their heads to protect themselves against the police. So basically the police will just be fully armed.
It was brutal.
Like wearing helmets and shields and everything, and they would pass a law that doesn't allow for protesting and also doesn't allow for you can look it up, this law also. There is like some
I mean this. Honestly, watch the documentary, it's so tight.
It was insane. So this guy, this piece of shit John here, just ignores that. He's just like, oh yeah, he overreacted a little. He's just a little, he overreacted. He basically wants this to sound as if like it
was equal 50-50.
like when it was equal, and it's like saying Holocaust is clashes and like millions of people died in the conflict of Holocaust.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like one side is clearly killing the other one. You can just say 40 people dead from the protest,
and like, it was like that,
this
like,
is by the police, and it was clashes, like that.
It should say police kill,
I think he ignores
26 protesters. Like, police kill 40 protesters.
There was
the
also
protesters at this point were a little bit violent, but not really. Like they were fighting back a little bit. Molotov cocktail, you said, right? Bricks. I thought they were actually pretty cool. Actually,
no, they didn't throw Molotov cocktails at the police directly. They would throw Molotov cocktails at like basically they would make this fire barrier between them and the police.
So they were righteous. They were that righteous that they were like,
and they would set like used tires on fire, like a bunch of rubber. So so the police wouldn't come any closer because of all of the smoke.
Let's keep going. That's a good point. Good call.
A number of European foreign ministers, the German foreign minister, French foreign minister, they fly to Kiev, and a deal is worked out to have elections that will, in effect, remove Yanukovych from power.
Now he makes it sound. Actually, this is completely disingenuous too. He says a bunch of so he wants to make it sound as if like Europe is removing Yanukovych, but really the deal was between some of the like basically between all of the other government and Yanukovych, and he was voted out of the parliament. Basically, Yanukovych was, and they say this in the documentary, ousted on the basis of him running away, and he ran away because people at the protests wanted him to be responsible in court for
the people who died.
And basically
so he's just hitting legal action. They were like, we're going to sue you for all these people that
we're going to sue you. Basically, they wanted to sue Yanukovych and then have and the deal was but this guy makes it sound as if it's some kind of weird deal. Basically, you get the picture, right?
Well, it sounds like they were being too violent, like he had to flee because they're too violent. But if it's like you had all the cops, you're killing them, and then they're saying they're going to sue you, so you run away. Keep
in mind, for years we had this like thing that it's basically like amnesty for any every new elected official is claiming, any new president claims that they will remove this amnesty thing, but basically our senators, you would call them that, or whatever it's called in Ukrainian, deputats, right? Deputate. They are it's a bit hard. The Ukrainian is like a bit hard on the endings with this like noises. Deputate.
Deputante.
This sounds almost. This is not a word that you just said, but this almost sounds Ukrainian.
Deputante.
Anyway.
That's sick, man.
They have this amnesty that any deputies can't get sued for anything, basically.
Yeah. So
they have this amnesty. So Yanukovych thought that he has that, but he basically they voted him to not have that, and they wanted to basically him to go to jail for killing a bunch of people, and all of these people who are dead is directly because of his orders. So that's reasonable. This is why he fled. He didn't think he's gonna actually get like beheaded or something, you know. He fled to Russia. This is how pro-Russian he is.
Protesters refused to accept the deal, and there are significant fascist elements among the protesters who were armed. Right, there's killing on the Maidan, and as a result, Yanukovych flees for his life to Russia, and this all happens on February 22nd. And
yeah, this was the most leftist
did I not have that
protest I ever like.
One of the problems with this lectern is you can't sit.
I will explain. So I condemn all of the Nazi party we have or whatever, or like fascist elements. He says this is what happened. Actually, later he doesn't say. That's interesting. This is what happened basically.
Yeah.
You seen the documentary. This is what happened. More or less the same. There was some opposition party that is actually has like fascist.
Yeah, aren't they
Nazi roots?
Aren't they the Azov battalion? It's
the Azov battalion comes along later.
They come later. Okay.
So you know the UK football fans culture, right?
Yeah. I mean, all over Europe they have these Nazi like they just have them. They're around.
We have this crap here too, and some of the basically it's like young guys that love violence, and some of them are also like obviously what's like violence, fuck whatever, contrarian, being
it's like we have those people, but they don't get violent here as much. I feel like Europe, it seems like that's a thing a little more in Europe.
It's a thing, it's a thing in Europe. And what happened here specifically is that they see themselves as like these vigilantes. Anytime any street violence happens, they wanted to retaliate against killed or like beat up women or something. They see themselves as heroes, so they would go in the front line of the protest and like try to do something with the police, right? They would try to escalate the protest. Well, it was like a minority or whatever. So there were a couple of videos of these kinds of people. And the Russian government, of course, the fear number one of Putin, I think, is the Maidan happening in Russia. The same thing happening in Russia, right? The overthrow of him.
Yeah,
so,
they need that.
That's that's kind of hilarious to everyone in Ukraine. It was at the time they made this every Russian channel is state controlled, like everyone, each single one. They aired. They actually lied a bunch of times. They would also air a bunch of footage from other conflicts all over the world. It was debunked widely, but it doesn't really matter. They would show.
They did a lot of like Palestinian bombings, and they were like today in Ukraine.
Some Palestinian like some early 2000s shit in some other part of the world. Some whatever. It doesn't really matter. They would show some like France on fire, car on fire in France, some shit like that. And some of those like football fans / neo-Nazis in the protests that are trying to be violent or whatever. They would show that, and they would claim that the entire overthrow of Yanukovych is a Nazi uprising. And the context here, again, is Russian nationalism. They have the biggest boner for the World War II because USSR won the war. All of the modern Russians see themselves as successors to USSR. They ignore all of the other countries in the Union. They ignore the America's help. They see it's all like Americans in Europe and other like ally power of America and who else with UK and some others. They ignore all of that. They have this thing also in like Russian like mainstream nationalists say, and even on TV, it's very popular. They say this phrase. We can repeat that, but they're talking about World War II.
Right.
We won back then.
They can't repeat it.
They're like, no. They say we can repeat that.
We can't.
We can. They say we are able to repeat the same thing. We won the war back in World War II. We will win another war. So like the Westerners better don't like fuck with us, whatever.
Right.
They have the biggest like a lot of the big part of that mentality is all of the glorification of Second World War and their glorious defeat of Nazi Germany. Even though the reality is very different and a lot more actual people who took part in who participated and survived never want to repeat anything, but of course all of them are mostly dead. So when they show to the Russian people that, oh look, the Ukrainians are taken by the Nazis again, this is basically what it is. It's in a way this clever ruse to dehumanize every Ukrainian, and it worked very well. Everyone, like, they would call us, they would just basically they would imply that every Ukrainian is a Nazi, literally, and they would just call Maidan a Nazi uprising.
Really? I mean, I've never heard that. I've only
just
heard
write
that,
it
like,
off.
I've only heard that there's like on one side there's like a small battalion, and maybe the Americans supported them. I don't know, but it was like they needed to be there.
Oh no, dude! Look, well, the thing with the battalion is that the same people who are like ultra nationalist Ukrainians who are violent. Of course, the first one who goes to sign up to defend motherland, whatever, is a kind of person like that. It's not surprising that one of the first like battalions was this Azov, who are supposedly like 20% of them or something are Nazis, but like, of course, all of the military, like, it's not like I'm gonna be best friends with the military people.
Yeah. No, I feel like every
right?
country has that. Like every country and every
it's
like
less,
even in
it's
Hindus,
less than
there's like a bunch of Hindu nationalists. In India, there's a bunch of nationalists. Like it's everywhere. Yeah. It's everywhere.
And in Europe, there is more of it. But the thing is, like, the propaganda line, and this guy writes that you won't believe how many people on Reddit were saying that Ukraine is a Nazi government or whatever, and citing this very video.
Weird. Yeah,
this
honestly, I gotta say, this comment section is like all pro. Yeah, like I don't think. I mean, they're not weird. Amazing explanation, simple and clear. Wow.
Wow.
I know, dude. That's how I felt when I first
very
saw it.
Simple
I was like, oh, it's so simple. Like, I mean, he breaks it down so well, kind of thing.
I want to debunk that, but also like all of them. I want to do this again. I want to do this like as a document. I feel like there's a legitimacy that people feel when you watch something very long. Like when I watch a 2 hour,
it's an hour and 14.
Like this one, you see this guy. He's a professor. He's very confident about what he says. He presents everything as if it's a fact. He calls it a cool, blah blah blah. He's this old. There is a legitimacy perceived just by virtue of being him and being University of Chicago. Even though all of this is a lot of this is just either clever language or straight up a lie.
Honestly,
one other thing he does, he also says that like which never happened again. And again, maybe let's move on. Maybe we can do this some other time. But he has this other part of basically calling the Russian ethnicity a minority in Ukraine, and that needs to be protected. He writes this ethno-nationalist line. Oh, watch his John whatever 2020 his new shit. He's like
this one.
Okay. Wash down one of this.
Have you ever seen those old movies where they're like looking for like communist spies inside of America? You think
Dude, this guy is straight up a.
You think
Again,
this
I
guy's a
feel-
communist mole inside of America?
I
Like he's
feel
just
I feel like that. I feel like when I go to the when I look at the actual like American left, half of those people now this whole Ukraine conflict really shows that half of those people are just pro-Soviet Union simps, weirdos who would do Stalin apologia, who used to do it, and now they
17.
do
John
Russia
Mearsh-
apologia.
wow.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's watch something completely different. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or
no,
do you
let's
want
try
to,
something
or do you
different.
want to wrap it up? I don't know how.
I feel
long
like we
is it
should.
been- has it been?
Yeah, I don't know. We're deep in. I mean, I like, dude. That's wild. I had no idea. I was so on his side. I mean, I was just so like with him on this. I'm like, I totally agree. America's out of control. Russia, but you are bringing up a lot of points. I mean, and you're there, and you have to be beside this giant who's like being an asshole to you. So it's like, I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's-
but again, they like, you know how frustrating it is, like just talking to a Russian guy who like we are able to speak the same language, and maybe we watch like the same sort of movies or some shit, like because of like some degree of, I guess maybe not even movies, but like YouTubers or
Yeah.
some shit where I would watch Russian, and all of a sudden after 2014, like all of a sudden they all claim that I'm a Nazi, basically, or like the government is a Nazi opera. They basically, you hear all of these lies. It was so frustrating, and I mean, still is. Now I kind of ignore it. I cut myself off from all of that crap, and
Mhm.
now all of a sudden, when the conflict starts from the left, like the space I occupy, basically,
yeah.
I
mean, you're
hear
in
the
it.
same arguments. I hear the same lies because they sponsored like someone for fucking RT or whatever. And this Mishhammer guy, Jesus, dude.
Wow, you got it's basically like half and half in the comments. Half of the people hate me and they're like, why are you letting him say this? And then you got Brian who's like, they are literally attacking Ukraine and taking territory. What are you smoking? LOL. Yeah, no, it's pretty heated. I mean, he was a guy that, like, I got to say myself and a lot of people I know were like, that's case in point. Got it. It's an hour and 14. He's a university professor. I wonder. I mean, it would be interesting to see if like it comes out that he's just doing complete Russian propaganda.
Oh yeah, I really want to like, is it hard to prove, right? Like what would it take to actually investigate his ties to, because he's known to, he admitted
That's
to,
very
like,
interesting. John Mearsheimer
going to
yeah. Okay.
it
Let's
would
see.
very
Let's see, and
interesting
then
to
let's
just-
change topics. I do have a ghost story I wanted to show you from Dan Aykroyd.
Okay.
And I wanted to see how you feel about it and whether you believe it or not. But John Mearsheimer, Putin ties. This is very interesting. Why John Mearsheimer blames the U.S. for crisis in Ukraine. The New Yorker.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's just they refer to this guy,
Have you
whatever. Like it's, yeah, that's the problem. A lot of people do. He's like, well, he is a weirdo. He has some weird views on. I've heard he has some weird Nazi apology views too, actually. But whatever. I don't know actually the details. I just heard this.
No,
yeah. See, they just,
no, Russia didn't get its propaganda from John Mearsheimer. Why the Ukraine crisis is the West's fault. I mean, the first one is why John Mearsheimer blames the U.S. for the crisis in the Ukraine.
well, that's just
This would be
basically
very
a
interesting.
repost. That's just a no. It's probably the same thing that he's saying. That's probably his point of view. Okay. You think it's a debunk? I don't know.
I wonder. Yeah, no, I don't know. We'll have to check this for next time. Yeah, we gotta. I thought that was such a great talk, though. I gotta
Okay,
say.
I'm
Listen.
glad you like it. It's, I mean,
Sometimes-
I like a lot of topics and a lot of stuff too. Like I want to do like this for my this kind of streaming format for my channel too. But it's very relevant right now, and it is very frustrating to just seeing
dude, and
people
you're
being
in
wrong
the
so
shit
much.
too. You're in the shit. Like you're there, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy that you're like you're getting attacked, and it's like
Yeah, I
people
would
in the
think-
West are like so like
Mhm.
boring. I don't care. Like I don't care. I'm on with
There
my
aren't
day.
enough-
I don't care.
I feel like there aren't enough like Ukrainian English speaking creators or something. I just never maybe there are like some small ones or something. I would really want someone else to be also as like vocal about this as me, you know, and then frustrated with all. I guess like on the left or something. There aren't.
Yeah, no. I feel like you got something here with this Mearsheimer rip. I feel like do the rip. I mean, that would be a great documentary because honestly, I have not seen a debunk.
Yeah,
of that video.
I want to see the public opinion. If my documentary gets
and the
views,
comments
you
were
know,
all pro Mearsheimer too. Like
I
on that video, I
see,
couldn't find any anti.
I want to see the public opinion like sway on this. That would be so cool if actually because if you do some level of like if you make it look good and you actually provide all of the evidence and debunk it in like all of the people who just been 50-50 on this or didn't care or didn't know any better, just had one perspective, they're all like, oh, okay, this guy is wrong, I was wrong, and it's actually been like this because of this.
I feel like we hit a couple of points already. Like we did hit a couple of points already. And even if you're doing the clip and you're like, oh, okay, he's calling this like the cops kill, like, no, he's calling this in the conflict, 10 people died. And then you show the footage from it, like that would show your point. Cause I mean, that is a weird wording for it.
Wash did this video. He watched this and I'm like I have so much more respect for the guy compared to all of the other, like every content creator, like for thinking for himself. Basically, because I think that's because he's autistic. It's because he's on the spectrum. Like he will not accept anything that's after this. Because I was just like casually watching, but after the conflict broke up, you can really see that Hassan, for example, is just like saying whatever is like a default.
Honestly, I think Mearsheimer
talking
with that
point.
23 million speech, I think he's covering all the talking points in it. Like, I do think that's from what I've heard, that's like the counterpoint. Like, that's the standard thing, like what is in that video that we watched. So yeah, man, I'd say go for the rip. But I did want to show you this Dan Aykroyd thing, and then I got to go. I have to go do a comedy show tonight. Okay. But yo, hold up. Yeah, this clip, this is one of my favorite clips. And this keeps happening to me where my BabaJis, like where my gurus, they end up believing in magic and I don't know what to do with them. So, you know, tell me what you think of this. This is very interesting. This guy's a comedy genius, dude. He's like one of the most brilliant.
Does he believe in flying?
He doesn't believe in meditation to flying. He probably does actually.
He's flying, levitation and stuff like that. If I'm in, basically, I wanna believe in it.
You want to believe it?
I want to support
this guy's
I really
want
it. I don't, but I want it.
So they're talking about this thing called the crystal skulls, and he's basically saying that like they must have come from aliens. But let's just watch the clip. This is incredible,
and
like
the Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, like the Indiana Jones movie. Yeah, it's based on these.
Jesus.
You can get the pictures of the skulls up, the Smithsonian crystal heads, and Smithsonian crystal heads you can get in Victoria Albert crystal head.
Do they all have the same similar type of markings?
There's theirs. Yes, they do. They all have the same. Now, you see, some of them are more are clearer. See, there's one at the British Museum. And there's some that are clearer and are more beautiful, and there's some that are rougher, like that one there, and the green and the orange one. But she says all fakes. But if they're all fakes, how did they get to these different places around the world, and how were they found?
Well, here's the thing. But why fake? The word fake.
He's basically saying that like they were placed by aliens, and then these people at the Smithsonian are like, no, just some guy made them recently. But he's very upset about. I mean,
it's very strange.
How do you like? It's on him to prove this. Like it's like any other supernatural claim. It's on you to prove this that it's not fake. Like you need to walk around and like study this shit to like you need to have arguments. Like what is this?
That just seems like so normal, right? Like that just seems so normal. But dude, in this podcast, this is one of my favorite podcast episodes. Dan Aykroyd is on this. He tells 4 alien stories, and 2. At one point, Joe Rogan is like, what about Bigfoot? You ever seen Bigfoot? And Dan Aykroyd just goes, Bigfoot, 2 times, one in the US, one up north in Canada. Yeah, when I was in Kingston, Ontario, Bigfoot was there. He goes into alien stories. This man believes. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with it, but there's
It's like they are certainly
good. How I like how Joe Rogan gets convinced too.
real carved crystal skulls.
But
So
were
they're
they
real.
from tribal ancestry? That's the
who
question.
Made them? Is the question.
Who
Were
made
they from
them?
modern Western
And
people?
how? Were they polished or were they carved? That's the thing. Aren't they beautiful? Oh God!
What do the indigenous people say? They say they found them.
The Navajo say they came from the Star Children. That they were brought down and deposited and given to them as crystal ball devices, scrying devices to.
What's that one down there, Jamie? Keep scrolling where you were.
I just
The one on the
expect
left. The one on the
okay,
left. Right
look, I think the, some what did he say, Navajo or like that whatever indigenous community he just mentioned, they hate him. They're like,
You think
No, we
so,
didn't.
or you think they got a shout out? They're like,
I think-
finally, he's saying the whole.
I think they're fed up. I think he is. I guess because
true,
I
it's like
didn't
a
know
bad
for
stereotype.
sure, but yeah, I think some white guy made this legend up, and they just basically exploit this notion of spiritual natives with alien bullshit now. Like all of a sudden they
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
Yeah, I
like
thi- I
maybe
think
they're
they
saying,
hate
"Hey,
him.
you're making us look stupid with this."
yeah probably they
They were
all
brought
always-
down and
Yeah,
deposited
that's
and
like
given
number
to
one
them
problem we
as
have, basically.
crystal ball devices, scrying devices to.
What's that one down there, Jamie? Keep scrolling where you were.
The
That one
green
on
is
the left.
beautiful.
The one on the left right there that looks almost like a real skull. Oh, it is a real skull.
Yeah, no, the green is beautiful. So
It's almost
I
like
guess-
the
I don't
real
know,
skull.
I'm not a
like what are
I
the
know,
others?
dude,
The
and-
CG renders, dude. It's almost dude. Oh, he means like the real human skull or something. Like
no. The
Oh,
real,
that's
like the
almost
ones that really are the alien ones versus the ones that they did recreations. That's what he means by real.
how do you
Like
even
some of them are
okay.
the real from the alien. Like some of them they believe are from the aliens, but then they're like, no, that's
Okay.
basically what they're saying at the museum. That they're saying like these are not more than 200 years old, and he's saying in the
These
whole
nicer ones. Wait, isn't there some sort of way to like determine how old the materials are, like
yeah.
in like sorry, not geography, in
Like it's
whatever science it is, okay?
archaeology.
Yeah,
has
don't
this.
archaeologists know roughly how old some like stone or bone or whatever is?
They
Like,
do
because
roughly
they-
know, but how much do they know? Like Joe Rogan always has these people on that are like, oh, that's the orthodox. That's what they want
I
you
mean-
to believe. But my studies show this.
Mm.
And I'm always just like, like, here's the thing. Now there's proof of flying saucers. There's proof, right? It was on.
No.
No proof. Didn't you see the New York Times? They actually wrote an article about that. Remember that Tic Tac? That's legit.
What, of like a dot on the screen?
Yeah, there was that Tic Tac, but it was a Navy guy. It was like a military guy. He's on Joe.
Dude, so-
that broke on Joe Rogan too.
Yeah, that's bull. Like, I think they debunked this on VFX Artist React, the Corridor Crew show.
No.
It's all lens flares. It's all lens flares, and look at
Tic
yeah.
Tac?
Yeah,
Alien
for sure.
Tic
Look at
Tac.
right VFX Artist React or something, or like Corridor. It's called a Corridor channel.
Okay. Corridor channel. I mean,
Corridor. Yeah.
but hold on.
The U.S. intelligence.
PB. Okay, we'll let's do that too. But dude, PBS NewsHour. Like this
Yeah,
is
they never lie. True, the news never.
Community on Friday released a
never wrong,
long-awaited report on what it knows about UFOs, or unidentified flying objects. Some of the more than 100 instances it studied could be explained by atmospheric occurrences, foreign adversary actions, or other phenomena. But most of the incidents defied explanation. One person who knows that well is retired Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich, a retired Navy fighter pilot. Alex Dietrich, welcome to the NewsHour. So tell us what you saw back in a training mission in San Diego.
So in November of 2004, off the coast of Southern California, we were preparing for our deployment, running training exercises. And when we launched, anticipating going to a particular airspace and running these training exercises, we were interrupted for a real world intercept. We were vectored to try to get a visual tally on something that another ship in our carrier strike group was picking up on their radar. So we followed their vectors and we ended up getting a visual contact. There were 4 aircrew and 2 aircraft. So each aircraft is a cockpit with a pilot and a weapons systems officer.
Okay.
And so among the 4 of us, we picked up this visual tally on this UAP, this unidentified aerial phenomenon.
And what did it look like?
So we describe it as looking like a Tic Tac. It looks like the little.
Yeah, they talk about
rectangles.
this video. They talk about this in the video. Basically, it's like a long, long zoomed in lens, and it looks very fast. Like it can be literally be something moving slow, but because the airplane looks moves very, very fast, and it like tracks the dot, it can be like a seagull or some shit. But it looks, but because of the look of the lens, they talk about this. Just look up alien footage debunked corridor, and they have this video. Alien video, whatever. UFO, yeah, UFO videos debunked corridor with like a corridor.
UFO footage.
Yeah.
Corridor.
Yeah, corridor crew. It's called
This
channel.
one?
Yeah, one of these. Like
This is 5 days
I think
ago.
yeah, this is the new ones. I think the third one. Yeah, the oldest one. Yeah, this one. I think here they talk. Maybe you can scrub through.
Come on, you're kidding
It's
me.
debunked. Look. It's very. They prove it too. Like you can.
Ed,
you
you're
can repeat it
debunking
wrong.
everything today, dude. You're debunking like
Well, I just
watch
watch them because it's like because I'm a VFX artist myself, you know. So.
Right, true.
Yo, alien. What is that dot? It could be anything.
This is interesting, but you can immediately tell what's going on.
It could be an alien. Dude, I could literally make you that shot in After Effects, and it would look exactly the same.
Oh, rips,
So what did you tell me,
dude.
Jamie? There's a UFO yesterday?
Yeah.
What does the U.S. government know about UFOs?
Newly leaked video.
So smart, dude. These guys are ripped. 1.4 mil.
Yeah.
Corridor
How did you miss
crew.
it?
How
Do
did
you
I
not,
miss?
do you wanna
You know why? Because I want to believe. But I want to
Yeah.
believe.
Do you wanna just erase this from the stream and like
No,
pretend like I
no.
never said it?
No, you
Am
know what?
I ruining this? Am I invited back? Am I ruining this for you?
No, you're doing great, man. I mean, honestly, that's why this is the only stream where this could happen. This is the drip, rip and dip. You know what I'm saying? It's like the truth is the truth, man. You know what I mean? Like, listen, even with the Ukraine, even with the NATO stuff, it's like the truth is the truth. I mean, you're bringing your points, you're making good points. This is legit, though. This is tight. Like, this is just like it's so
Basically,
sad. But
you
then
can scrub
how come
through.
all
They
these
say
news people are like they're all saying it UFO. It's here now.
Do you watch Captain Disillusion?
No, who's this?
Allegedly shows.
Oh, okay. You have to subscribe to Captain Disillusion. He's like the okay. Actually, I don't know if he does make. He makes like a video a month, or like recently he didn't make videos for a while, but
Yeah.
he historically been debunking a lot of this crap, and this is not basically he's been on YouTube for like 10 or 12 or even more like 15 years. I don't know, like from the very beginning of YouTube, and he was debunking. There was some other Fata Morgana shit that was happening. They were saying that, oh, it's an illusion that looks like a city, whatever. But it's actually basically all of the news outlets ran with this story about this like optical illusion that looks like a city hovering over, is hovering in the clouds.
Yeah.
But you can just scrub and find your footage that you.
But where is
it's one of many. It's one of many. It's this one.
Oh, here we go. And they have this guy. Oh my God. We got to see the guy. Because this guy seems like such an honest guy.
So basically,
such a stand-up guy.
it happened before. A bunch of these news networks just copy paste each other's mistakes, and they call some weird footage that some guy done on his laptop in After Effects that looks like a city in the clouds. An illusion that occurs naturally, and they basically used an explanation that's not suited, that actually doesn't work like that, and it's actually just a VFX shot that someone published as real.
Wow.
But they just because they can reference each
yeah,
other.
I see what you're saying. Like one,
they didn't care.
But no, this Tic Tac alien flying ship was New York Times and PBS NewsHour. But let me just watch
they
this.
say it can't be explained because they're not smart enough to explain it, and then it's like they didn't say it's aliens.
Are the people running our government this dumb though? Like this is Pentagon people, and they're like, I can't.
Well,
I don't know what it is.
They're
I can't figure it
people,
out. Must be unidentified alien.
I'm sure.
flying craft.
I'm sure all of the optics engineer, like people who
do,
make
yeah, they
lenses for
should
this.
know. They're in the military. They should know.
Yeah, but they're not. They are interviewing military people, not engineers. They're not interviewing anyone who can potentially debunk it. They're
Okay,
interviewing like the military guy who knows how to fly. It's like basically saying, it's like basically asking you, a driver of a car, how like or like a casual driver of a car, how everything about your car works, right? Like you're not gonna know anything. You didn't engineer it.
But it's still like you're the military and you're the top guy at the military. So it's kind of stupid that you are an adult.
Okay, watch
a
the
tic tac flying across the screen. But let's watch this.
Find the thing.
Kind of cover it up so they can act like it's something interesting to talk about.
I don't think we developed that technology on this planet.
That guy.
All right, this next one is from the Pentagon.
There's something there. I think that's a physical object.
I think it's a physical object too. So just a little bit of context. We're in an airplane.
And the airplane is above the water, and it seems like whatever they're looking at is below them. But it's like, what is this? It's like a dot that's like, how many pixels is that? Like maybe a collection of up to 12 individual pixels? You know what I'm saying? Like there's not a lot to work with here. It's just, here's a dot that's flying around.
I have a pretty strong theory of what's going on here. This is one of the more interesting ones. It's not so obvious like, oh, it's an out of focus object. Like this is interesting, but I think this is just a trick of parallax motion.
A trick of parallax motion.
I think what we're dealing with here is a bird, not a drone, not an incredibly fast flying ship. Here's why. First off, we are not sitting still as our point of view. We are in an airplane, the airplane's moving. Notice that when they're not locked on the bird, the ocean isn't moving. The airplane's not sitting still, the airplane's moving fast. I think what's actually happening is the camera is stabilizing itself to whatever it's pointed to. So it's pointed to the ocean, and so it's locked there. The airplane's still moving forwards, but the camera's locked to that point in the ocean like a gimbal. And so it feels like we're sitting still, but we're not. The camera's just tracking that one spot so it can stay locked there. And then if we see a bird fly by, it looks like the bird's flying really fast. But imagine for a minute, if you will, and you have a bird up in the air, and we have an airplane going 300 miles an hour, 400 miles an hour, and the bird is flying in the opposite direction of the airplane.
Fair enough.
All right, so you see this little thing go across the screen. Not because the bird's going 300 miles an hour, because they're going 300 miles an hour. And it makes it look like they're going super, super fast.
Wow.
And let's do a little experiment here. Sam,
You know how
why don't
you
be the
drive
bird here, okay?
past
I have
the
it on the end of
car?
the stick. It's a little.
What's
It
that?
feels like when you drive past another car, it feels like it's like twice the speed because comparatively to the car,
Yeah,
it is.
relative.
And this is how this. Yeah. So this is how the bird also adds up. Like the speed adds up, and they will replicate the shot now. Look.
Little yellow bird. And I'm gonna be the airplane. And I just want to see what happens in the background. Okay, lock on. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, action. All right. So Sam didn't even move. That bird's going so fast.
It does look like it's moving.
Yep. I think that's the effect we're looking at here. I think the bird's probably flying, decently fast.
But what if it's a UFO? It could be a bird. It could be a tiny, tiny alien moving at the speed of a bird as well.
Yeah. So we've gone from what I think is an easy to debunk to a medium challenging debunk. Let's go to one that I think is the most challenging of all of them.
Wow.
Okay, while everyone is trying to debunk these UFO videos, I did a little bit of research on my own. And I think there's quite a few things in here that people aren't going to notice. And I want to tell you exactly what...
You want to watch the sponsor space segment?
Yeah, no way. Let's go.
So some of these are lens flares. Some of these are like basically you can see how the camera moves. And so infrared lens flares are like, all of these optics are slightly different from what you're used to on your camera. So when it happens, it's not recognizable that easily. But then you see if the camera moves.
Yeah. So they got the first part of it, but then it's like the guy said, it could be a tiny little alien. But the aliens could also just be putting like a little camera in there.
Look, it can either be a seagull flying and this same effect, or it can be a seagull-sized alien flying.
The seagull, I feel like you'd see a little bit of,
It can be, hey, you never know. It can be an alien bird. It can be like an alien seagull.
Right? They might be trying to.
I think they're trying to invade us with.
This one doesn't look as tic-tacky. Yeah.
So this one is a flare.
We're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west.
God! Alien! It looks like a Fulalorpazorp! He shaped his UFO like a Fulalorpazorp. What we're looking at here isn't a UFO, but a flying alien in the flesh. It does have a very UFO-like shape. But notice how it rotates. Each time the camera rotates, the orientation of the alien's body rotates. Wow. The shape that we see here changes as the camera's orientation changes. So its shape is defined by the camera. Whatever that is, it's not that shape, first off.
This one is a challenging one. I think we're looking at two different things happening here. So this is a thermal camera. It's not just infrared, it's full on thermal. So it goes pretty far down to that infrared spectrum. I think we're looking at a lens flare, a heat lens flare. When people say lens flares, they probably think of that whole streak of like, you know, circles across the frame. I'm just talking about a literal flare. Bloom. It's a one single bright object in the center of frame, and what's giving it its shape is the shape of the bloom out around it. So it's just one bright object like this, and the way it blooms, I think, is giving it that oval shape. What's there in the distance is either an airplane or a mylar balloon reflecting the sun. And it's reflecting the sun directly into the camera lens here, and they're going, whoa, it's so hot and bright.
When you use thermal cameras or cameras like this, they have a certain dynamic range. If something blows it out, so to speak, you get the halo effect. Like if something's super ultra bright, sometimes that will basically tell the sensor like, oh, it's too bright, and so it just displays black, but then the glow from it is still apparent.
So it's not actually black, it's actually just too bright.
It's so bright that it's coming in as black. Of course.
Yeah. So regular cameras show it as white if it's too bright, but these cameras just show it as black.
Why can't I believe, Ed? Why can't I believe? I don't believe in anything, dude. I can't. That's it. That's all it takes. This alien story, I'm like, I want to be with you, dude. This, I wanted to believe, man.
When you see like missiles blowing up buildings, right when that explosion goes off, it goes black and then back to white because we're dealing with this effective dynamic range of what thermal cameras can handle.
Also, this is probably another one of those situations
where whatever that is in the sky, it's not moving the way it looks like it's moving because we're now just doing the same parallax.
That's what happens when we bomb the Russians.
On the horizon lines. So once again, let's break this down. There's
footage. I just recognized it recently. I've seen some. They record some of the.
Yeah, some of that footage is so banger, man. It's crazy. I can't believe it's happening so close to you.
Yeah, I guess when that happens, I just feel good. Like when.
Yeah, no. You're like they have to be defeated. They are the aggressor. They're evil. They got to be defeated. This is wild. I can't believe this alien thing. Did everyone know this alien thing was fake? Am I crazy?
I feel like everyone.
Didier Munyabata. Hope your comedy show goes well. Didier Munyabarenze, £2. Thanks. Sorry, say that again, dude.
I feel like I don't know, maybe it's just me, or did people just forget about it or just seen this? Did you just miss the video?
I guess it's the thing where it's like, okay, there's an alien, that's a sexy story. You debunk the alien, boring. I think that's what this is. It's just like aliens, yeah, whoa, there's an alien now.
Oh yeah, remember the 2012 Maya calendar shit?
Yeah, that was great. I like that.
See, remember but I want how just before 2012 they made a bunch of movies and shit, but just before they found an update to the calendar, they found a second part. So it didn't end with 2012.
Yeah, it's 2022.
Oh, dude, CGP Grey has such a cringe video about self-driving cars.
Oh, you don't like it?
Have you seen it?
I gotta watch it still, man.
He has this, well, better done, to be honest. He has this idea that like, oh, if all cars are gonna be self-driving, somehow, like, because we'll be able to, cars basically will never stop at red lights.
Yeah.
Therefore,
they'll just keep like driving around.
Going anyway. Yeah, but basically it like leaves out the room for any pedestrians crosswalking and red lights for that. And leaves out like public transportation with most stops and stuff, and he basically leaves out this idea that it still doesn't solve traffic because basically self-driving cars are not perfect. Everyone needs to buy a new car, and this idea that everyone needs to buy a car to just go anywhere is still bad. Like it's not gonna solve anything, but like he basically plays into this Elon Musk strategy of we will fix everything, just buy products for me, basically.
Yeah. Jacob Bruce saying, I won't believe in UFOs, aliens, etc. until I see SETI's approval on it. Yes, SETI's interesting. They're doing like, they're looking for the aliens. Because here's the thing, we all do believe in aliens. But then,
yeah, in a way, right?
In a way, we all think like,
oh, maybe in the other place, maybe they exist somewhere, but not here, or like there is no evidence.
Yeah, maybe. 4-hour life tomatoes. Thanks for that clarification. SETI's, yeah, SETI's approval. I get, man. I do feel like I was excited about that. I thought it was like, okay, aliens are here. Let's move on. Let's do some crazy shit. Message retracted. Damn. Yehudi,
Oh,
what are you
organic
saying?
material can be dated and stones can be dated. That's interesting to know. That yeah, maybe this is why they are so confused. But then, how do you have evidence that it's not just someone just does crystal shit? Like, do people not do crystal anything, not just skulls? It's so weird.
Well, let's watch a little more of Dan Aykroyd's explanation because
Okay.
I want to believe. You know what I'm saying?
Put him
Scientist,
on
not a
double
professional
or something.
And then I gotta go.
He is, right?
Historian, I guess I have to trust the lady at the Smithsonian, but then I question, they were found at different times in history around the world. How do you go and seed? How do you deposit them there?
Why does she believe that? Has she given a coherent reason why she thinks that they're all hoaxes?
I guess she's done her analysis, whatever they've done, through their skulls. But again, the Hewlett-Packard engineers took that Mitchell Hedges skull and they said this have not have been polished. It would have been cracked or destroyed. Could not have been built by tools. It would have been cracked or destroyed. It had to have been polished. Yeah.
So, but what about some sort of a very fast-moving drill?
Oh yeah, they do this all the time.
That can slowly grind down.
Well, that would be there'd be marks that would be visible under.
Yeah, there's like how could it be? How could it be possible?
It cannot be done. It can never be done. It's pretty funny.
That's actually honest of him. That he didn't say. I thought he was going to say that the Hewlett Packard scientist said it must be aliens, but all they said was like it can be polished.
They say this. They say this all the time, and it's pretty funny. This is something I heard. There is this long video about ancient aliens, the documentaries.
Yeah.
And the History Channel. There's this like long, I guess a documentary about documentaries, right? Like on Quinton Review's channel. And he watched basically all of this crap.
Yeah.
And he talked about how it's very weird. Basically, the pattern that repeats in all of these quote unquote documentaries is they all say basically this. Those native people there, they're stupid. They can't do anything. They can't do architecture. They can't do. But they basically say this all the time. Those like ancient Indian people, they can't build anything. Ancient Africans, they can't build anything. They can't do art.
It must have been aliens helping the Egyptians.
It must have been that's not possible. And they say that it's so ridiculous that they say this about literally like
everyone,
literally
like
everything.
Hindus too. But the thing is, the people from there play it up. Like even the Hindus are like, yes, we had aliens and the Hindu gods were helping the aliens and we had alien spaceships 10,000 years ago. They bring it in. We're involved with them. We're actually doing their technology. So it's not always
in reality
an insult to the country.
In reality, like the same with like, I think, wait, was it Stonehenge or no, the pyramids thing, right? With the pyramids, like it's now studied to the point of that, like, there is some like clever technique they do with slabs and how they cut them and everything. So so all of the
like look, the
used to say, oh, it's impossible. No. Look, they use wooden pieces. They like wooden nails basically.
Yeah.
And then they would nail some wood into the they would make a hole, like drill a hole in the marble, right? In the marble, and they would in the stone, whatever stone you need. And they put some wood in it. Then they pour a little water. The wood expands. And it all cracks. They have a technique for everything.
They have like a little technique for everything. And you know where
they had economy, society. They had everything to move all of the crap. They had everything.
And let's
basically,
not
it's all been studied.
They had slaves, right?
No, they actually didn't have. So I heard that they didn't. It's like a myth about.
Oh really? I always thought they just had slaves.
All of the pyramid builders.
Hey, put this rock
like
on there or you die. And then they figure it out. You know what I mean?
I think that's the same. It's the same kind of like it's the same sort of like Western bias. If something hard was done, it's probably because they had slaves. They had to do it, but they are like barbaric, right? So they had to have slaves. Someone died for it.
I mean,
they actually. Slaves did happen. I just mean that in that specific case, like
you don't think Egyptians were doing that? They had cool, like better ideas.
Egyptians who worked on this actually been buried in a smaller like pyramids. It was like very honorable to be buried in this way. So they were too, and there was basically some data showing that. That they worked only for periods of time and had like normal. So basically, they didn't have any slave conditions.
They had like workers' rights. They had some like
so they had workers' rights. So they probably weren't slaves, right? Because what's the point of having slaves with workers' rights?
Yeah. Let's watch a little more of this.
The scanner, they put.
Couldn't you polish those marks down?
I think that the intensity of the Hewlett-Packard scrutiny revealed that there were none of those marks, and that's why they were able to make their claim.
Here's the problem with this: is like
that's
you
impossible,
want them to be real, don't you?
Oh yeah, I love the legend.
I do too. I do too. But I don't trust me.
No, neither do I.
So
that's why I say openly.
When you're saying all these things, I want to believe you. I want them to be from the sky people.
I do too. But again, you've got a professional in Washington at our National Museum there who says no, they're not.
Yeah, but what does she know?
Well, look how quick he just turns around. It's because like that's what you know. It's a great episode, man. It's like, dude, this guy has so many alien like firsthand. He's like, I'm there with my wife, my kids are behind me. 2 alien ships come down, bing bang. I'm seeing them in front of my eyes. They fly off. I look at my wife. I said, honey, these are aliens here. One ship's still sitting there. We're looking at it. It flashes a beam, laser flies off. What do you do?
Yeah, the entire story.
Yeah. That's what he has like 5 of those stories. But then at the end, he says that his mom was also super into aliens and had alien stories. So it's like
somehow it's all in America too, right? Somehow it's all the kind of people who are into this culture, which is I kind of like it. How do
I do like it. I'm actually glad for the alien people. Like I'm glad they're here. I wish I believed. That's where I'm at. I wish I believed. I wish you couldn't just show me like one guy debunking and I'm like, it's done. But really, that's all it takes. That's the problem.
Hey, I'm back.
One debunk is a debunk. What's up, baby?
I had time to charge up my camera a little bit. So
zhuzh it up, baby. But I gotta go soon, man.
Yeah, I know. I
gotta go. I have a show tonight. But dude, great chatting, man, and great insights on this Ukraine thing. I find that stuff very fascinating, especially the fact that you're over there. You're keeping so zen. What's your mental health practice? Are you doing any meditation? What are you doing?
I don't know. I'm just a weirdo. I don't. I feel like I do this crap. This Gary Vee shit when he says you need to imagine people. It's my cat. Look.
Oh, that's so cute.
Cat is sniffing the camera.
Can you show us the cat? I love cats, dude. I love dogs more. I'm not gonna lie, but you're a cat guy. Ed, you're a cat guy.
Yeah, I'm a cat guy. I have 2 cats.
That's very interesting. That says a lot. A lot.
She wants to be on my lap.
So cute. And Ed, you're married too, eh? Hi, baby. Hi, poopy. You're so cute. You're married too?
She scratched me.
Oh my god. Ed, are you married?
I am.
But your wife your wife had to get sick, dude.
Yeah, she evacuated. She's chilling out of country because.
Oh my god, where is she?
In Poland.
In Poland, and you guys are messaging. You guys can talk. You have internet. Everything's fine.
Yeah, I mean it sucks, but what am I gonna like? What else am I gonna do? Just make her stay with me,
baby. I'm lonely. No,
it's also save her. So yeah, mental health. Oh my god, she watched this. She wanted to watch it. I don't know if she watched this deep in. Yeah, probably not. But yeah, she's fine. She's safe separately, and I feel safer alone, I guess, because I don't have to worry about both of us. I guess if we gotta like run or whatever, I can just I have this thing. It's kind of weird. We like to have. I guess car it wouldn't even be really useful because it would straight up like clog up roads. If shit goes down, but I ride an EUC. You know what it is? Like
a UC? What's that?
EUC, electric unicycle.
Look it up. Oh, you have an electric unicycle?
Yeah. It's like my main thing.
So like, what's this electric unicycle? This is how you're dealing with it, like being alone from your wife?
No. I just mean that if I gotta run. If I had my wife
you have one of these rock and rollers. You got a little bad boy like this.
I have like a nice one, but anyway.
Damn,
I can use this one, but
this looks like rock and roll, dude.
This is like a tiny one. This one sucks.
Oh no, you got like yours is like a motorcycle, basically, like a one wheel. Yeah,
basically, yeah. It's
damn, free yourself. It's true. These things
Okay,
rip, dude.
this one looks all this. Look up this guy, Chuch. Now these ones are like weak ones. You're looking at
Right,
old videos;
right.
they look lame.
Do they come with
But,
do they come with do they come with training wheels? Because I don't know if I can do one wheel.
Oh, dude, it's funny. They used to, like, old ones. They say they used to be
Like with a training wheel on it.
here. Oh, this one is
Wow.
fun. This one is in motion. This one, the bigger one. This one is nice.
This one's sick.
Um,
Yeah, this one looks like a motorcycle wheel, actually.
So anyway,
Dude, that's
yeah,
so
they're basically
European. Dude,
yeah, I know.
you guys should be in the EU. You guys should be in fucking NATO. Are you kidding me? With this?
They're pretty. I mean, they're.
This
people
is
are not
so
converted.
Euro. Why do I not know about? In America, we're going bigger with our cars. Like, we want bigger cars. I
That's
want to get a
true.
scooter.
Dude, this is I dreamed about this my entire life. Basically, my entire life. I wanted
This
to
thing
have like
rips.
an electric skateboard or some shit like that. But it turns out that electric skateboards are basically crap, like in
Yeah.
comparison to EUCs, because wheels are tiny and every bump you hit, like this one is just okay. Look up some cool stuff like fuck me, man. You're gonna have to.
Dude, this rips,
let's
man.
see,
I want to get this in Canada now. This is amazing.
Yeah, it is in it's called there are
I mean,
tops.
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. Jay Grubru, what's up? Didier Munya Branzezi, what's up?
Look at this.
Zarasha, I'm literally here. Ocho Cinco, I see this in NYC.
Oh, so that's my
Arun
wife. dude.
Zex, 4 Hour Life is here. Didier Munya Branzezi, thanks for coming. Hembuscus
Zarasha is my
Gaming.
wife. Okay, I'll look at this video I sent in chat.
All right, let's check it out.
It's actually some Russian guy, but by the way, which is, I mean, he's probably anti-war. I don't know, but he has this just style of it's in Zoom chat. This
Got it.
style of riding.
I like
just
this.
in the skip over. He just like rides in traffic all the time.
Damn,
you can
dude,
see-
this rips.
You can see how fast he goes, like 66 kilometers an hour. And he rides in between.
This is so dangerous, dude.
I just
What
sent
is he
this
doing?
specifically because he
Oh,
just
he
like
didn't go through, okay.
uninterruptedly record. He will go through. I do this too sometimes, but anyway, you can
Damn.
ride split. What's the name of it? Like line splitting, like on the motorcycle. He goes 70. There are some,
Wow.
so mine goes 50 tops, but anyway, the idea is that like I can basically just
Look at this. You're getting through all the traffic. This is very
I can
efficient.
just ride off into the Polish border, I guess,
Dude.
if they start bombing my city.
Or if
but,
you get a gun.
if there was
'Cause I
two
heard
of
they're
us, we
giving
would
out-
have to.
Sorry,
No, it's only in Kiev.
only in Kiev. Okay. Would you do it though? Would you do it? Would you get the gun and
What,
go
get a
rip on one
gun?
of these? Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That would be fucking the best. I just
Like that's what
He
this
wears,
guy
like,
looks
full-
like he could
like
do.
full
He could pull
safety
out two
gear and
cats
shit.
and just
yeah, I guess that's one advantage, right? Your hands is it's actually incredible how because I was every time I try to ride like a bike or something after this, it's just so weird. Like I'm so used to my hands being free, so I just go wherever I can look up something on my phone, or like have a map in front of me, or like carry on the Valentine's Day I was
who's videotaping this?
He has like a camera on the stick. It's a 360 camera, and it basically paints out itself. He has, you can see it in the shadow. See, he has like a stick.
Oh yeah, he has a stick.
Yeah.
Weird. I don't see the stick in real life. I see it in the shadow though.
Yeah, you can see a little like distortion where the stick would
Oh,
be.
it's putting it through his legs.
Yeah. He just
Wow.
holds it in one arm because his hands are free, you know.
That's amazing, dude. This is so sick.
So you just yeah.
This is how he got it ripped post-COVID, basically. This is the post-COVID world. Yo, thanks.
Oh
everyone
yeah,
for coming.
dude. Actually, yeah, I had mine for dangerous pussies.
Yo,
don't
the
wanna
country's
ride in
getting
70
bombed, you
kilometers in-
idiots. You
Well,
pussies.
it wasn't always. Do you think they're gonna stop in outside of Ukraine or something? No.
No way. Oh no, what do you think is going to happen now? They're not going to stop. There's no signs of them stopping the Russian side, or do you think it's going to end soon?
I think personally, it's either gonna be they didn't have enough money to continue for long. Everyone says that, and it's either gonna stop and it's either gonna be like localized and frozen.
Yeah.
For a while, so they're just gonna keep some like level of troops in some regions of Ukraine, and it's gonna be slowly like there will be some pact for ceasefire agreement.
Yeah.
Or straight up they will start pulling out.
Yeah,
because they didn't have enough. They say in a month or so, or like a bit over a month or something. Maybe in faster. I don't know. But the prediction from like economists is that Russia is running out of money. In the quickest is in 2 weeks since beginning of, so they might already not have any money, or like in 2 months.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm hearing too. Yeah, like they should be bankrupt soon. That could be interesting. And I heard that some millionaires are like, if you can kill Putin, that's $1 million.
Yeah, for sure. If you
can. Yehuvy just retracted so many of his messages. Yehuvy, what's up? What did you say? Arun X is here. Didier is here. Manish Thakur, thanks for coming.
Dyslexic or something?
I don't know, but I know Manish Thakur. Manish Thakur, right now the Patels, I'm a Patel, and Thakur, they're in a beef in India. So next time we're gonna have to talk about it. No, Manish, I'm glad you came though. I appreciate you. Yehuvy, I don't know. Yehuvy's wild, man. He always comes though. Brian, fully on your side.
Someone says, are you reading our comments? So Amish apparently doesn't have a separate monitor.
No.
But he really should. So he can watch something and read chat at the same time.
Wow. That's sick, dude. Yeah, I should do that. Arun X, what's up? Thanks for coming. Please, Morton. Tommy and Mohammed. Never mind. I can't share this on YouTube. My friends probably think I'm weird AF. Baby, here you are loved. Here at the Digital Asharam, you are loved. Thanks for coming. Tony Detienne. Drip. Thanks, baby. Thanks for coming. Please, Morton. Aztec Man. Thanks for coming. Aztec Man. Please, Morton. You asked for F-18s. We got some drones, bro. Aztec Man. Since it's not created by the idea of capitalism. Capitalism is a funny thing. It is an idea after the thing itself. Interesting. Aztec Man, thanks for coming. Yo, Yehuvy's just got all deleted. Man, Amish has a real hard time here. Well, you know what? Like, you know,
that's older. That's probably when I was.
Yeah. No, that was. Honestly, I didn't think you'd have any real points, but that you made some good points there. No, that's good.
How dare you? You think I didn't have any real points?
I was like,
have respect. Come on.
Yeah, no, of course. No, you do your research. Oh
yeah, dude. Do you want to watch this psychotic video of? It's very short. It's like 2 minutes of Russian state television and everyone threatening nuclear war for 2 minutes.
Russian state TV.
No. I will send it to you. It's on
Send it to me. Yeah, let's end the show with that. I think that's a nice positive place to end the show. We end with that.
It's nice. Yeah. That's basically it shows how they're because I was briefly talking about their like nuclear nationalism, that they're part of their national identity is like, we have nukes and we're gonna use nukes. So just read the captions, I guess. You can full screen so people can read captions.
Если вы считаете, что мы остановимся на Украине, подумайте 300 раз.
That's a very popular. That's their Tucker
Is this a military
basically. Guy? No. That's their. That's one of their top shows on TV, on state TV. Like every grandma, every grandpa in Russia.
Remember, I showed you the guy from Arnab Goswami.
But they didn't have.
TV?
Look,
this guy's like
they have multiple shows like this, but they didn't have anything. Not like most channels have a show like this. They didn't have anything normal.
Yeah.
Every political show they have is like this. All of the opposition is only on the internet.
Wow, so this is Russian right-wing TV. Something heavy to... Oh my...
Yeah, Poland, they hate Poland.
Граница России нигде не заканчивается.
Придет время, и Польша ничего не останется. He says the border Russian is not...
Государство под названием Литва и государство под названием Польша ведут себя слишком нагло. Слишком нагло.
И не понимают еще, так сказать, да, что вот на самом деле с ними можно разобраться быстрее, чем с Украиной.
Пускай пищат, кричат, да, это бомбардировщики, которые способны нести ядерное оружие, но у нас нет другого выхода.
Наши подлодки способны выпустить более 500 ядерных боеголовок, что гарантированно уничтожают США и все страны НАТО в придачу. Это по принципу, зачем нам мир, если в нем не будет России? И сейчас вся российская бригада переведена в особый режим боевого дежурства.
Sorry, not peace, world.
Yeah, they're basically referring to nuclear weapons. Like, why don't we drop nuclear weapons if we're going to get attacked?
It's like the same word in Russian for peace and the world, actually.
Damn, that's wild. And right here, drip, rip and dip. We got a Ukraine correspondent here to tell us the inside facts, the inside story, the real shit going on.
Turn
Russia.
the US. Just casually, like Russia One is their like main channel everyone watches. And they're just casually. Russia is this very popular, and it's actually in like 2015 or something. It's not even recent. They were doing this for years. They were like Russia is the only country that is capable of turning US into the radioactive ash.
Wow, damn, dude.
That's what
Nicholas Hartman, thanks for coming. Tony S, Ocho Cinco, Didier Mahamumia, Zoriasha. Damn, this Ed guy is cool. It's true. I mean,
that's
honestly,
my wife, that's my wife, Zoriasha.
Oh, that's your wife.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm literally here.
She sent me this clip too. She offered to send me this clip. She supports me. She's the best.
Oh, Zoriasha, thanks for coming. You're loved. Thank you. You're appreciated. And everyone who came in today, thank you so much. Great report on Ukraine-Russia conflict. On the ground, we have someone. Thanks for coming in. This is great chatting, man. I found it fascinating. That's such an interesting conversation.
Yeah, me too. It
was
a lot of fun.
Dude, let's do it again. We'll do it again. I'm probably gonna rip tomorrow, but let's do it again. Probably like Sunday or next week. I don't know. Whenever. Hey, let me know, man. Message. You know, if you ever want to come out to chat, just say, hey, man, it's weird over here. There's bombs dropping. Like, let us know. You know,
I hope not. Okay, I hope I never.
No, I hope not. And we don't want that. Leah, thanks for coming. You are loved. All right, everyone. I'm gonna go do a comedy show tonight in Toronto. Hold on a second. Actually, I do have to share this. I do have to share it.
Oh no, the plug.
So, yeah. No, tonight I'm doing this show, Friday night variety show, comedy, live music, magician. This is one thing I'm doing, but really I want you all to come do karaoke with me tonight if you're in Toronto. This karaoke is a ripper. I do songs on this and people are like, are you famous? Wow. Let's be friends. Like people hang out after. And then of course, Sunday I have group meditation. Check it out. Loving kindness, the most powerful practice of the Buddha. You know, in these times of fighting and war, this is what we need. We need to bring the culture together, bring the community together. So again, thanks for coming. You are loved. God is great. And ripper, dude. Thanks, dude. Must come back. Good.